What is up, everyone? Welcome to Dead with My Friends podcast. I am your co-host, Steve.
And I'm your co-host, Nick.
And on this episode, which is episode 25, we have a very special guest with us, everyone, Gabby Galgano.
Hello.
So, Gabby, welcome. Welcome to the show. One of our biggest supporters and listeners since, day one. That's why we wanted to make sure you and Mikey got, our first test wrestling shirts, because you guys have just been such big supporters of us, and we appreciate it. So we brought you on to talk Dead Silence.
Thank you. I am slightly nervous, very excited to be here. It's kind of weird, talking to you guys with cameras on. We can literally cut all this if you want.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
But yeah, I'm since day one, man, been your number one fan.
Oh, we appreciate it.
Listen to every episode. Love talking with Butch about, where you guys are going with it, ideas. Love helping out in any way I can.
And you're working with us on the video end as well.
Yeah.
Because I hate doing it.
Video end, because...
Yeah, super appreciative on that.
Well, it'll come out soon. Everybody will see.
It's good to have Nick, in front of the camera, because he's always the guy behind it when we're doing, these vlog trips. So just to have him...
Even then, I get shy.
Yeah.
You do.
We gotta break you in more.
It's like one of those things where it's like you think you want it.
Yeah.
And then once you get it and you're like, I don't want this anymore.
Yeah. Nah, man. I'm the same exact way. I used to do vlogging for myself all the time, and it was actually a lot of fun being able to be behind the camera. And I know you were probably jealous because you were like, I don't want to be in front of the camera. But once you got talking, man, you're good. You're golden.
Yeah, because you went away with Steven, and then I felt so safe.
This man is this man is an encyclopedia. Literally every single movie we passed in the archive, you were picking up everything. This director did this, and this, and then they also have this from the other studio, and I was like, this is great shit. This is good.
Rumor has it that his voice is still echoing throughout the
archive.
The archive, yeah.
They're
dude, they're so fucking awesome. The archive, shout out to Brian and all of his staff again. We had such a good time vlogging there, and I can't wait to go back.
That's
the
Mecca.
A magical place.
Yeah, no, it was great, and you picked up your first.
I got my first
boutique label.
Yeah,
what did you get again?
I got a Cat Creeps.
Okay.
1948. I do not remember the director. I still haven't watched it yet, but I remember I watched it in school, and that's kind of probably why the title stuck with me. But I don't remember it. But it's a 1948 thriller.
You also saw the old school Universal logo. That's what piqued your interest with it.
I love old school Universal. I'm a little stickler.
Listen,
I love the classics.
It's a good before bed. Any of the Universal Monster classics, I love throwing them on. Especially this time of the year. Before bed, it's just
I've been doing that a lot, to be honest. I've been watching House on Haunted Hill with Vincent Price.
Hell yeah.
On fucking repeat. I mean, I've seen it a bunch, but they have it in color on Tubi. Tubi's the GOAT. So
always.
I just downloaded Tubi, and I can attest. It was great.
Welcome to the family.
I had a Meg Ryan marathon the other day on Tubi. Yeah.
After you watched Dead Silence.
Yeah, after I watched Dead Silence, I watched When Harry Met Sally. I was like, ooh, this is on Tubi? Okay.
They got some fucking great ones, especially for the shot on video shit, which is that's kind of harder to find these days, but they have so much shit.
Dude, I'll be honest, going through my October watch list, I was like, fuck, where am I going to find all these movies? Because I don't own all of them. Literally, Tubi has every single one of them that I want.
Yeah.
All the hard to find ones. Even the Frighteners.
Yeah. Oh, you got the Frighteners on?
Yeah, I have the Frighteners on there.
Nice. That's
a good one. I was like, shit, man. I was like, I don't know what they even have Neon Maniacs. That was another one that was on there.
What's the thing they do? I literally just saw it when it opened up. It's called Go Down the Rabbit Hole. And it sends you down. It's a Tubi thing where it's
really?
do you want to go down the rabbit hole? And I'm like, well, I can't right now because I have to watch something. But I was like, I'm gonna put that in my brain for later. Yeah, apparently I was on the app on my phone when I opened it.
So what? It'll just
maybe it'll
throw you into
generate a list of based on stuff I've watched.
Really cool.
I don't know if that's what it is, but I was really tempted to click on it and be like, what is the rabbit hole?
I'm gonna have to look into that then.
Yeah.
So before we get any further, for those that are watching, you notice we're not at our normal setup. We are at the Galgano studio. And
he's over there.
We got Mikey Galgano here, notorious for recording a lot of Lower Hudson Valley bands, and the drummer of Roanoke. So being here at the studio, it's really sick to be here. I remember tracking a single with some friends a few years ago. So it's just nice to revisit. It's
Yeah,
nice
the studio's
to be here.
fucking great.
Yeah.
I'm grateful to be here. It's a lot easier for me on the setup too.
Oh, yeah.
I'll say
Yeah.
I don't got to move all this shit around.
Yeah,
So I'm
we've got a
grateful.
good setup going. We're lounging, we're chilling. It's a
Yeah,
fucking
the lounge feels nice, man.
Big comfy couch.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like the big comfy couch too.
Yeah, a little
actually.
bit with that clown girl.
Watch out for the dust bunnies.
There was a little clown girl, right? Big
yeah,
comfy couch.
Lunette
Lunette?
and her doll
yes,
Molly.
yes, that's right.
Lunette and her doll
Wow.
Molly, and then there's
yeah.
all the little townspeople.
Yeah. We also have another guest. We've got Charlie
Mhm.
McCarthy here, who makes a cameo appearance in Dead Silence.
Yeah.
And what's good, Charlie?
I mean, technically, he's the first celebrity guest, if you
Yeah,
think about it,
Technically,
too.
yeah.
Dude.
So I did say on the retrospect that I wanted a celebrity guest. So, Charlie, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you helping us achieve our goals and getting some celebrity guests on. Dude's got some skin, or dare I say plastic, in the game as far as being on camera and stuff. And it's good to have you here, man.
Yo.
He's a little camera shy.
He's very talkative in the car,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, he actually got us here. So yeah, before we get into a deep discussion on Dead Silence, I want to talk about a little band from Seattle, Washington, Aiden, a band we both grew up on during the era, like Fuse's heyday, Steve's Untitled Rock Show. I remember when they were interviewing Aiden, and they had just released the Rain in Hell EP, at which We Sleep Forever single ended up being used on the soundtrack for Dead Silence. And that fucking video rules. So let's talk a little bit about Aiden, Nick.
That's a great video.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was like the glory days, I feel, like the early 2000s, because this movie came out in 2007. That Rain in Hell EP came out in 2006, I believe.
Yeah, yep.
Movies and bands and soundtracks like that, dude, that go hand in hand. Like, it was it was a different time. Anytime I watch the music video, it always brings me back to a real good time in my life, for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a bygone era. Like, you don't really see like movie soundtracks as promoted, whereas like we had the Freddy vs. Jason one, all of the Saw soundtracks. I think Mudvayne was on like fucking Saw 2
Yeah, they don't do it
soundtrack.
anymore. That's
Yeah.
kind of like what I was like trying to get at. But even with this soundtrack, it was more or less just the scores
Mhm.
and everything, with Aiden, We Sleep Forever thrown in on the Dead Silence soundtrack. I saw Aiden, dude, in 2005.
So like at their like
Nightmare
major...
Anatomy.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Nightmare Anatomy just dropped. You saw them on the Zoomies Couch Tour,
Yep.
which that's a bygone era.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did they, the Zoomies Couch Tour, did they come to the mall to play that? Or was that like you went to New Jersey, or where did you go for that? Do you
I went to
remember?
Albany, actually.
Albany?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, me and my family, we the only reason why we went to the Albany one was because the Element skate team was there.
Okay.
And I really wanted to see Bam. So Bam
Yeah.
was there, Novak was there, Tosh Townsend was there.
Sick.
Yeah.
Was,
Mike V was there.
Of course.
So, dude, it was such a sick skate demo. But yeah, Bayside and Aiden both played. And I remembered somebody threw a fucking water bottle at Will Francis while they were playing. And I was like, what a fucking scumbag.
Yeah.
I didn't even like, looking back now, I wish I had enjoyed it more. You know, I wish I had taken it in. I mean, I was more into like the skateboarding aspect at the time.
Yeah.
But the fact that like Aiden was there, like it's cool for me to go
Oh, yeah.
back, that I was like in that vicinity and I have that experience.
I had first seen Aiden at the 2000. So this was my very first Warped Tour. It was the where did they do it in fucking Long Island? The NASA Coliseum. Okay.
That sounds
Miserable
right.
fucking location because it's all on just blacktop. And so you imagine you're in the peak summer on top of blacktop. So it's like 110 degrees there. But I saw Aiden there, and then I had seen them another time. That was in 2009, and then in 2011, my senior year, they played a loft show with Dr. Acula.
Really?
And yo, everyone, they were the headliner, right? Aiden was, and like a lot of fucking people dipped. And so it was a little more personal. Like we were like, the loft, it's fucking, we're right there, So Will just kind of took it upon himself. He's like, let's get fucking personal. And he had dropped a bit of like information. He said, we haven't played, I think it was Poughkeepsie at the time. Yeah, he said they hadn't played Poughkeepsie since 2008 or 9, and that's when the one guitarist, Jake, had quit the band. Like, they played a show at the loft,
He
he quit the band that night.
What?
Yeah. So,
Jeez.
yeah. they were like, yeah, some
Shitty.
memories here, but it was still a pretty solid show. Just to see them like so personable, you know.
I mean,
It's
that's
just a
the beauty
personal
of the
setting,
loft,
yeah.
man.
Which
Don't really get much fucking personal.
the
than
final show is happening upon this time of recording. It's happening at the end of this month. It's Hatebreed, Internal Bleeding, and then My Friends in Sick Bay are opening, and then those fuckers added another date with
In
fucking
Brooklyn,
All
right?
Out. No, another Chance show with All Out War and Fuming Mouth. I'm like, why the fuck can that not be added on to my fucking Friends in Sick Bay playing on that Sunday show? But
Oh, it's
such
a
is like-
Sunday? The
so
Hatebreed show?
there's two. There's
I
the
told
one
you
on
they would add
Sunday.
another one, and you were
Yep.
like, no, they're not. I told you they would.
Yeah, no, you were right, and I'll fucking gladly eat my words on that. So the Sunday show sold out in 3 hours. I got my ticket like on my lunch break that day. And then they added another show since it sold out so quick, and they added All Out War and Fuming Mouth to that Thursday show. So there's going to be a Thursday show and then the Sunday show, which is the true final nail in the coffin for the Chance.
We'll see about that.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe it'll be...
Seems like it's being fucking prolonged, though.
Yeah. But yeah, so back to Aiden. Yeah, definitely it's good to revisit a band from like our childhood. Like that was definitely a go-to band to throw on from your like skating, especially during the fall weather.
Oh, I
like,
listened to tons of Aiden when I was skateboarding,
Yeah.
dude, for sure.
that AFI All House EP, you know, just good fall skate sessions. And you know, I just want to talk a bit about
And the Rain
fucking
and Hell
Aiden.
EP was really good too. 6 songs on it. They do they do a Misfits cover on it.
Yep,
Which
Die,
Misfits?
Die, My Darling.
Die, My Darling. And then they do
White Wedding cover.
White Wedding.
Yep.
Billy Idol.
Yep.
And then they have 3 more
Yeah,
original
there's
songs,
like
but they're fucking it's
there's
a
like
good
an
EP.
interlude song, there's The Suffering, and then We Sleep Forever.
We were talking earlier though. I wonder how like them getting on the Dead Silence whole fucking
Yeah.
thing came to be. You know, it was probably because it's just like the aesthetic and the look.
Probably also being on Victory Records. I mean, that it was a very reputable label at the time. So, you know, I'm
yeah,
sure,
management
like,
probably got him
yeah.
on, right, Mikey? You think management probably got him on?
Mikey knows. Mikey's put some skin in the game as far as the music industry
Yeah,
goes.
label probably put him on. They're like, yeah, this is kind of like a dark, atmospheric, gothic-y looking fucking movie,
Yeah,
and we think that this song would probably go really well in it.
and they did. I love that
They
music
pull
video.
some clips in the music video,
Yeah.
so they do like the cemetery scene in the music video,
and they shoot
and they
it in a
match it up
cemetery.
really
Yeah,
well
yeah.
too.
Did
I send it to you?
I'm afraid to like jump in.
Why?
But
No,
yeah,
jump
we
in.
did watch it. We did watch it together.
I did show you,
when
right?
I came over the other day. Yeah, and they matched up like all the lighting and everything because it was just the cemetery. Their band shots were all shot in the cemetery where all the dolls are buried, and then they were like splicing in like montages from the movie, which I thought was cool. But they used to do that a lot in like the early 2000s. That was like a big thing of like I remember. I mean, okay, so I'm definitely gonna show. It's like I was never really big into horror until I got older. So all my early 2000s stuff, it's like, you know, they did it with Mean Girls. They did it with I remember like any Lindsay Lohan movie or like Hilary Duff movie. She would have like a music video that would be like, you know, a
Intertwined in
song.
the
Yeah, they don't do
like
that
a song.
anymore.
They like
No.
cross promote everything.
Yeah,
It's like
it
a
was,
very 2000 like early 2000s.
it was all a
thing.
promotion thing, and then I mean maybe
But it
maybe
looked cool.
yeah.
Like,
maybe they thought like, you know, this would be good promotion for the video or for the movie rather, you know, having Aiden, because they were probably pretty big at that time. They were kind of blowing up a little bit.
Yeah.
now
So-
I'm like curious. I want to write down to like look into that. Why I should have looked into it beforehand. But like, how did they get like?
I tried looking it up, Aiden.
Yeah.
I tried looking it up. You can't find anything
Well,
on
you got me the other Dead Silence script, which I still haven't gone through yet. But
Dude,
There's an
look, I don't.
alternate script. that
oh,
Oh,
we
you
have
read.
bits. We have tidbits.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Dead Silence is
Oh wait, did I just jump the gun though? Or are we?
no,
like,
I
are
mean
we
it's
going
fine.
into
It's
that?
a perfect segue, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. So, that script that I had given you, I don't know if that's the early iteration that you were
So,
talking about.
I
So I'm glad you
don't-
brought it up.
But
So
now,
what do you know about
okay,
the early one?
so this is what I heard, and I think I might have been mistaken. So, Leigh Whannell,
Mhm.
correct? He wrote Dead Silence. He also wrote for, you know, the Saw franchise and, you know, different ones.
Insidious and-
Insidious, The Conjuring. So I might be misremembering this, but basically Leigh Whannell wrote the script for Dead Silence as like he went to the studio and pitched the idea, and then they paid him the money to write the script. So it's either you can get paid to write the script or you come to the studio with the spec script already.
Okay.
So this was, I believe, the last time that Leigh Whannell ever did any script work before having a spec script.
Okay.
Because they
Correct
fucked with
me
it
if
so
I'm wrong,
much. No, you're
because
correct.
there was so much studio interference, but there was so much studio interference with the writing of the script. So I'm guessing whatever his original idea was, whatever he went into it, that's what I'm guessing, because I reread that like fact that I found
Right.
on like, oh, like Leigh Whannell never goes into, like, Leigh Whannell always pre-writes his spec scripts before going to the studio because
he
of
had
the
to learn
amount.
his lesson, really.
Yeah, so I'm guessing maybe while he was writing the script, the studio was just interfering with how the story was going, or I don't know. But I didn't find any like interviews on it. But I misread it at first. I'm like, is there an original script? Like, what did the
There
original
is.
one look like?
There is.
But yeah,
it doesn't
so-
exist online, and it'll never
Yeah.
see the light of day. And I'm glad that.
Yeah,
Well,
from the bottom of
so I did a lot of deep diving on it too after you had mentioned it, because like I love that shit too. Like I always want to see like early iterations of stuff, and I want to see like where it was and then where it ended up.
Yeah.
So the script that I sent you, that script has an alternate opening and an alternate ending, right? Which were filmed and you can actually see on like the 4K. We actually didn't bring it.
Oh, we did not bring our copies.
So it's okay. But so that's what it is. But there is an early script that was made that Leigh Whannell had spoken about. So like the Mary Shaw era, they call it like the vaudeville era, right? In the theater and everything like that. The early script that he had before, I suppose the studio had like fucked around with it and everything. It was this Dead Silence was supposed to be an entire period film, which I think would have been great.
Makes me so angry and upset.
And I want to see it. I want to read it so bad, but it was
especially because I was saying that was like my favorite scene was the era.
So that era, the vaudeville era, which is like the 20th century theater or
it's
whatever.
Like the early.
Do you have a better definition of what it is?
So like vaudeville would be like the 20s, 30s. Think like, oh man, like I have a theater background, so I'm all like Chicago, Fosse. Chicago kicks ass.
Oh my god.
No.
It was like the heyday of like the theater experience.
It's the heyday of this theater, and it's that whole like kind of vaudeville was a mixture of like burlesque, circus, and like theater, just like and. I love the vibe. I love it so much.
But what could have been, right?
Yeah, I know.
So
that makes me really upset.
It.
So maybe that's why he was so upset, because that would have been fucking
Well, he
sick.
said he was
I
like,
would love that.
He was like, I don't even know if I should be talking about it. He's like, but fuck it, like it's never going to end up seeing the light of day. I deeply want to see that script. I'm going to put it out in the universe that I'm eventually going to read that script.
We will find it.
Some way, somehow. I don't know how. Maybe I'll meet Leigh Whannell or James Wan one of these days.
I want the original.
And I'll just be like, can I just please read it, man? Like, I won't leak it or nothing. I'll sign an NDA. Like, I would love to. But doesn't that sound so cool?
Yeah,
absolutely.
With the studio, obviously, they were like, yeah, period fucking pieces aren't going to really, like, it's not going to work, But
again, early 2000s, it was all about, like, because, I mean, this is around the time of Saw and The Ring coming out. Like,
it's in the peak of, like, there's already 3 Saws out almost at that point. Or at least Saw 2, because...
Saw 2 for sure. Well,
when I was still writing on them.
Dead Silence came as a rush because they were guided by their management. They were like, yo, like Saw's doing like really well, and the studios are gonna want you guys, so you gotta have something else in the chamber. And James Wan and Leigh Whannell being big fans of like Hammer films and shit like that, and James Wan's really big into ventriloquism and shit. So like he was talking about how like a big inspiration was like Poltergeist and things like that. Like they wanted to do a ghost story, but then he was like, yeah, let's throw like creepy dolls and shit in it too. So yeah, it came as like a rush, and I mean it didn't do well. Like we talked about it as well. It was a flop.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It flopped big time too. And I was surprised reading about it, because watching it, I was like, this isn't that bad. Like it's campy, it's it's a little silly sometimes, and you know the plot holes. We'll get into it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't want to jump the gun, but
yeah.
like, you know, I was surprised, but I wasn't surprised though, because I was like, if it didn't flop, there would have been like 3 or 4 sequels.
So,
Definitely. The fact that it was the one and only standalone.
That is like a blessing and a curse, because I think, like, you know, fast forwarding to the Conjuring universe, I'm fucking over it.
I was over it
Yeah.
after 2.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm over it, but I would have loved to see a sequel to this, but it's too late. It's
Yeah.
way too late, and you can clearly see how shit got carried away with, like,
The
again,
Saw films.
Yeah.
the Saw
Oh,
films,
yeah.
the Conjuring universe. You know, it's just all
Yeah, if it didn't flop, we would have had a bunch of
yeah.
and they
Which it set the groundwork though for the Conjuring universe. If you think about it, because you got Annabelle the doll,
Mhm.
and then also Insidious. You had mentioned when we were watching it again that, like, the one woman ghost in Insidious who is haunting the dad, looks a
Yeah.
lot like Mary Shaw,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that is absolutely the vibe that I get. So, you know, it definitely laid the framework.
Well, it's
for
all
things to
James
come.
Wan and Leigh Whannell's world,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
But I feel like, again, with that too, you know, they definitely drew inspiration from it. But even just going to, what was it, specifically Insidious, like they made the spin-off of The Nun because people just liked that ghost from Insidious, right? Am I remembering that correct?
Conjuring.
The Conjuring, yeah.
Yeah.
They just like made this whole spin-off because it was like, oh, that looked cool. Like, let's
And she
do
wasn't
this.
even supposed to, like,
wasn't
the
even supposed
fucking
to look
nun
like her,
wasn't
yeah.
even supposed
Yeah,
to be
Bringing up
in
the
it. It
nun
was like
now.
some crazy fucking demon, which looked even
Yeah.
better in my opinion.
Yeah.
But then I guess at
I mean,
the
don't
last
get me
minute
wrong,
they were
the-
like,
the
this might be
first
too
time-
intense.
The first time I saw Valak the nun, like in the Conjuring Part 2, I was like, all right, that's a little creepy. But
Yeah. As the
those
main,
movies just didn't land for me.
as the main antagonist,
Yeah,
it just like
yeah.
doesn't hold up.
Yeah.
But Goat Man forever.
Yeah.
The Darth
yeah.
Maul fucking goat man. Yeah.
Goat
Okay.
Man was cool in the
I
nun.
was
Oh no,
thinking, like-
actually, hold on. Did you see the nun too?
I haven't.
Well, that's why
he-
we're talking
The
Goat Man.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
oh.
no,
There's a
no,
Goat
okay.
Man in
Oh,
it.
there's a goat man.
in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We saw it. We
Yo,
all went out to
I
see it.
love like anything like kind of like goat related, like where like it's a hybrid.
Yeah.
Like that shit really creeps me out. Like VHS 2,
Yeah.
the fucking
Oh,
Colt
man.
with the Baphomet looking fucking.
Well, we're gonna
Demon
petition
Man's
for
fucking-
Goat Man. the
Goat Man. I would
Okay.
watch a whole movie of, but like, see, for me, it's weird because, well, all right, I think goats are just so fucking silly.
Yeah.
They just make me giggle. But the Goat Man and the Nun too, actually.
He was cool. Everybody,
cool.
he was a
looked
fan
cool.
favorite. I thought he was
He was
cool.
my favorite.
I'm gonna have to check out the
yeah.
Nun too.
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't. It was a good time. I wouldn't watch it again.
Okay.
It was but if someone was like, "Oh, I'm going to see the Nun too," I'd be like, "Yeah, it was a fun time." You know,
Yeah.
it was they had fun with it. There were some cool sequences. Still mad about it. Yeah, I can't even get into it. The whole.
But I didn't like the first Nun.
Yeah.
I definitely.
I never saw the first Nun actually.
I mean, but we're just talking
did.
about
It
like
was
the
pretty
Conjuring
boring.
universe, and we're just
Yeah.
talking about the universes that Leigh Whannell and James Wan have all made. Just
Yeah.
from just what came from just this little Saw movie
yeah,
that they had made, being fresh out of film school.
Yeah.
So they met at film school, and I think like their fucking dynamic was just incredible. James Wan is an incredible director. Apparently he hates writing, is what Leigh Whannell said, and Leigh was like, he's like, I like acting and I like writing, but he's like a director and writer now, and his fucking movies are great too. Like, have you ever seen Upgrade? You ever see Upgrade? Leigh
No.
Whannell made Upgrade. Oh, you got to see Upgrade. Was great. The Invisible Man was really good.
Yes.
I saw The
yeah.
Invisible Man.
That was a good one.
yeah.
That was a good one.
But I think like
I had my nightmares about the Invisible Man.
Did
too.
you?
It was
Yeah.
it just like creeped
it
me
was
out.
it was a good movie.
Yeah.
I think he's a great fucking writer. But I think it ended for them with Insidious. I don't know if it was the first or second Insidious.
Oh, they
was-
parted ways
yeah,
after
they
that?
definitely I don't know if they're working on anything now.
They're not
I didn't
working
check
together,
in,
you know,
but
Oh,
like-
I wonder if they had a falling out.
No,
Just
I doubt it. I think
sometimes maybe. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt,
No,
but
you're
I
good.
feel like like knowing when to end something.
Right.
I would much
Yeah.
rather that than like see them become the evil.
Well, what I would think was Leigh probably just wanted more out of his own career,
okay.
because it's not like I wouldn't say like he was living in James Wan's shadow or anything like that, but James Wan is one of the most successful filmmakers ever, one of the most successful horror filmmakers ever too. And I mean, he would have been able to do it, I'm sure, but it just fast tracked him that he had such a good writer behind him as well with Leigh, and like I said, their dynamic was great. But I guess Leigh wanted to direct and write, and that's what he went on to going and doing. So that's what ended up happening. I'm sure they're still friends. I'm sure they're
Yeah.
just at different stages in their careers. So I would love to see them team up again for something like a James Wan, Leigh Whannell. And I mean, Leigh Whannell, he acted in Saw. He was in he was in actually all the Insidious movies.
Wasn't he the guy that that was like it woke up in the bathtub?
Yeah.
That was him, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
So there was only 2 people in it really, and he was
Yeah.
the other guy. So
Nice. All right. Well, before we really start diving into the plot of Dead Silence, one thing I want to bring up is the choice of reds. James Wan went red heavy on this, and I'm wondering, like, was he on his Argento shit? Was he on his Suspiria shit with the Argento reds and stuff?
yeah, I can
I
definitely
wonder.
see that.
I
I mean, I
wonder.
know that he is a Dario Argento fan for sure.
Oh yeah, you could totally see the influence.
I mean,
feel
who
like.
isn't?
What, for James Wan?
Well, who doesn't like Dario
Yeah.
Argento?
I mean, listen, some tracks. No, I'm kidding.
No,
Listen,
fuck
yo,
you.
listen.
Some
All right.
tracks.
It's been said many times. I'm more Fulci than Argento. You know that, but I do have appreciation for Argento. I just feel like after the mid '80s, Argento kind of fell off, and had Fulci's health not been so compromised, man, we would have got some more bangers. But
I digress.
But yeah. So, what do you say, Nick? We dropped the trailer, and then are you all ready to get into Dead Silence?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Well, hold on. You ready, Charlie? All right, he's ready.
Jamie? Jamie?
There's an old ghost story around here about a woman named Mary Shaw.
The ventriloquist who lost her voice. Back when I was a boy, a little boy went missing.
There was only ever one suspect, Mary Shaw.
She was murdered.
The men cut out her tongue.
And this town has been plagued by death ever since. Families found without their tongues.
She was buried with her doll collection.
The children, as she called them.
Somebody dug them up. All 100 of them.
They came back. They didn't stay dead.
She's here.
Beware the stare of Mary Shaw. She had no children, only dolls.
Destroy the dog!
And if you see her, do not scream. Or she'll rip your tongue out at the seam.
So yeah, I just kind of want to dive into this. Like, I don't want to sit here and do play by play. I just kind of want to talk about like shit that I really enjoyed, and maybe things that could have been, different. And yeah, so I'll say for sure, like the colors, the reds, the fact that it mainly focuses on ventriloquist dummies. Like, I was always big into ventriloquist dummies growing up, and I've had this Charlie McCarthy myself. I've had Slappy from Goosebumps and like a few others. Howdy Doody, yeah, I had one of those. Same for the same line. You could pick these up at your local Sears that is no longer around.
Yeah, pick it up at your,
Yeah,
your
that is
local
no longer
Sears
around.
catalog. Man.
Yeah, but I used to get these out of the catalog like every fucking Christmas, and like I'd have friends sleep over, and they'd be like, "Yo, can you fucking put those things in your closet?"
Oh, Jace hates it.
Yeah. Yo, I was
My
one time
fucking-
I used this to my advantage because like we were like in our neighborhood, we were having like it was a summer night, and we were having like fucking manhunt, And I totally like propped a few of these up to make it look like I was sleeping in my bed and just snuck out and played some Manhunt later.
That's what you did?
Yeah, it worked. I didn't get in trouble.
Your mom just never went in your room.
I don't know, but fuck it. It worked.
All right, you know what?
I'm going to say
It worked.
It worked.
It worked.
All right?
Yeah, it worked.
I pulled the fucking Ferris Bueller's Day
Yeah.
off, all right? It fucking worked. Yeah.
You did like a little voice recording of yourself.
Or like
But-
the
Or it
Truman,
was the
or
doll.
the Truman Show when
Or it
he,
was the doll
he sneaks
talking.
out.
Oh, yeah.
Or dude, when we were watching fucking We Were Dying, we were watching Trick or Treat last night as like a little bit of a side tangent. And when Sammy Kerr's coming through on the fucking radio and Ragman's like, "Mom, don't come in," and then Sammy
Yeah.
Kerr's over the radio, it's like, "Mom, please come in." Anyways, so what were you saying? So you were saying like in the beginning of the movie, you really like the colors, you like the color palette that they used.
Yeah, I
for
like
this
the
film?
color palette. I like, you know.
It was kind of bleakish blue, right?
The
Yeah.
first thing I wrote when I saw the colors, like you could tell it's the 2000s because everything's blue.
Yes. Heavy on the grayish blues.
Yeah, that blue
A
tint.
real
But-
gloomy vibe to it.
But it
Yeah.
contrasts like pretty nice
no,
together.
yeah, they did a good job with it, and definitely like you can tell a lot of love went into like deciding which things to have the Papa Red, like his bow tie, the Papa Red, his car was red.
Yeah, the
The
lips
red
of Billy.
the curtains in the theater, like there were like nice little accents put in there. But if you look at the wardrobe too, I always look at wardrobe. One of my best friends is a costume girl, and she anyway, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
Oh, not to cut you off, but to add to the wardrobe, we saw in the credits last night who did wardrobing was David
Oh.
Cronenberg's.
Yeah, well, hold on. I'll fact check it while you guys fucking.
Yeah.
while
Yeah,
Gabby
it was a
continues.
Cronenberg, though.
Well,
That's-
I was just saying because if you notice in the wardrobe, pretty much nobody is wearing any other color other than like neutrals, other than like
to let those reds pop.
to let
and
those
shit.
reds pop
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
And they definitely like for like the scenery and stuff too. It was definitely
I
like a
love this-
deliberate a deliberate choice.
I love the scenery. That's like one of the big eye candies for me
Yeah,
too. It's
the
not just
ambiance.
the ambiance, the color,
Yeah.
the scenery, great exterior shots. And also like just the look of Billy. Like that's the first dummy we get introduced to.
Yeah.
And like, fuck, dude, it's just such a creepy looking doll.
The introduction to Billy is like pretty cool in the beginning, where it's Jamie and what's his wife's name?
Lisa.
Lisa.
Yeah.
Lisa, right?
Sorry.
Yeah,
In their
Lisa-
rainy apartment.
Yeah.
Where the fuck
Yeah.
do they live though?
So this was shot in Toronto.
Right.
Mhm.
So they don't specify.
Yeah, they don't.
But
they
I'll
don't.
tell you what, the town of Ravens Fair. Well, I live 20 minutes away from this town called Rosendale,
Mhm.
where they also shot A Quiet Place. They shot some of that in like Rosendale and New Paltz. And Rosendale looks just like a rundown Ravens Fair. Like
Yeah, I could see that.
I was gonna say I've
Yeah.
brought you over through there before. They have a nice old theater there too, which they'll do like old screenings for like
There you
especially this
go.
time of the month of like older
Mhm.
classic horror movies. Like I saw Carnival of Souls there,
Yeah, I remember that.
but it's like old auditorium seats with no cup holders.
I
So I'm
love
just sitting
that,
there
yeah.
holding my boiling soda, and like other people, because they didn't have fucking cup holders, you could just hear their like fucking glass bottles like ting 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 like just rolling. But still like it's just that old kind of town vibe. Even though they relocate to the city, like Jamie and his
Yeah.
wife, they're from this town of Ravens Fair. They relocate to the city. They have their own life. I'm gonna just go and say it's fucking Canada. I don't know. It's
Who knows,
It's supposed
yeah.
to be probably some small U.S. town in the Northeast.
Yeah.
Because it
But-
doesn't seem like city. It seems kind of like it. I don't know. Kind of gives it gives like Nyack kind of feel like like there's shit there, but
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah. Like, there's
it's
things
not
within
like
walking
Manhattan.
distance.
Yeah, like I don't think it's like Manhattan.
There's a lot of foot traffic.
Oh, but then the Chinese place he
Right.
walks to pick up the Chinese food.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and,
and
then you
then-
come up to like an old fucking town like Rosendale up by me.
Yeah,
Yeah. Nah, it could totally pass, I think, for like the Hudson Valley.
Yeah.
yeah,
So then, like in the beginning of the movie, though, this is kind of where we find out about who Mary Shaw was, and
Yeah, the lore of Mary Shaw.
Well, they actually don't go into the lore until like much later. Actually,
but
Yeah,
she's
but,
mentioned in the
but
beginning.
she's mentioned in the
yeah,
beginning because
the-
they see the dummy. They
the
see,
wife is the one who mentions the rhyme.
Yeah, she's like,
'Cause
oh,
they just
don't
get a
you
knock on the
remember-"
door, and they just get this
Yeah.
package, and they open it up, and boom, it's fucking Billy laying there
Yeah.
in the package. And from where they come from, you find out later on in the movie that ventriloquist dummy in Raven's Fair is a bad omen.
Yeah.
But like, why didn't he say that when he first got the package? Do you
I
know
think
what
it was all
mean?
coming to him. I think he like tried to remove that aspect of his life out of his mind,
Yeah.
you know, and then like as things went on, it started to come to him like, oh yeah, that's right, like, you know.
Yeah.
Well, you can also tell too, like based off of like the interaction that he has with his father, that he did not have the greatest of childhoods, right?
Yeah.
He
But-
got shipped out a lot.
Yeah, he gets shipped out a lot, and I mean, his father says it was for his own good, whatever. But like, his father is also not even really his father throughout the movie. Spoiler
Yeah.
alert.
Yeah.
Big spoiler. I
Yeah.
mean, the movie came out what, like, oh shit,
Oh, I'm sure
like
plenty have seen this.
2007.
2007, like
Yeah.
almost 20 years ago now.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
know, crazy.
Yeah. No.
So yeah, but Jamie also mentions in the movie that his mom used to sing him the nursery rhyme of Mary Shaw. And
Yeah,
how's it
Beware the
go?
Stare of Mary Shaw.
Beware the stare of Mary Shaw. She had no children, only dolls. And if you see her in your dreams, be sure to never ever scream.
Yeah.
There's two versions of it though.
Yes, so there's one in the trailer where it's like, beware the stare of Mary Shaw. She had no children, only dolls. And if you see her in your dreams, be sure to never ever scream or she'll rip your tongue out at the seam. But that was only used in the trailer.
I like that
Mhm.
one though. I kind of
Yeah.
like that one better.
Yeah.
If I'm to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know
It's
why
not. No, they
didn't-
took the dreams part out in the trailer.
in the dreams.
And yeah, they took
Okay.
yeah. So like,
But
if
I
you
know
see
the
her
rip your
never
tongue out-
scream, she'll rip your tongue out at your seam. Yeah, something along those lines. I know they had like different versions of it though.
Yeah, so there was the trailer version, which I already said, so I'm not going to repeat the whole rhyme again.
Yeah.
So,
No, but repeat
Where
it
is
again.
Kit, say it again.
no, I'm going to say it.
I didn't hear it.
I don't want to say it. Well, you want to say it, Charlie? Nah, you don't want to say it.
He's
You
been
know it.
very fucking quiet. I'm very
Literally.
disappointed.
He's a little fucking camera shy. Leave Charlie
Like
alone.
me.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, the ventriloquist dummy ends up getting delivered, and then Jamie and his wife have the dialogue about Mary Shaw and everything like that, and they talk about the nursery rhyme, and then Jamie goes out to get Chinese food, and during that time, this is a great scene in the beginning. It's
so much fun.
Yeah, it's a very fun scene.
She like wants to prop Billy the dummy up to scare Jamie because she could tell like he's like fucking creeped out by this thing. And as she's doing that, like, she's got the record going, she's got a pot of tea brewing, she's vibing, they're gonna have a nice romantic night. And then it's like some kind of like cue
like,
noise. And then
Yeah.
all the volume just starts to like drop, like the record distorts, and then the tea the kettle's about to go off,
Yeah, it's
and it
dead
just goes,
silent.
and then it just everything gets
Silence.
dead silent, which
Mhm.
again, perfect title for
Roll
a movie.
credits.
Yeah,
The original title was Shh.
I'm happy it
Believe it or
wasn't.
not.
happy they didn't
I'm
do that.
so I did not know that.
You want to go see? Shh?
Yeah,
I'm so happy
let's
it
go
was
see
not.
Shh.
But that makes sense because literally, like on the poster,
It's him.
there's Mary Shaw's finger with Billy
With
and doing the
Billy.
shush.
Dead Silence is
But-
definitely a better title.
Yeah,
but
it is
I was like,
because
all right, let me,
Yeah.
It really does get dead silent. Each
Yeah.
scene that Mary Shaw, like her presence is felt, that's
Yeah,
when you know
everything
she's
goes-
coming.
Everything goes
And it's-
quiet.
And it's built so much tension because like she walks over, and then she's got Billy under the sheet, and there's just that lack of silence.
They don't even have any music either, which I liked.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You
she
know?
had the record player going, which I actually did write in my notes. Like when I was watching it, I was like, "Ooh, I like what's going on with the sound." And then like she's looking at the boiling tea kettle, and she notices that she doesn't hear it. Which also we kind of glazed over. She does, like, she's setting up the doll and whatever, and she stops, looks in the mirror, and we find out that she's pregnant.
Yes, yeah, big plot point.
Yeah, big plot point there. And then she's like, she's going and she's looking and she sees the tea kettle boiling and she's like not hearing it. And she's like, what? And then like the record
Also,
player and
the
everything.
clock where it's like
Oh, yeah. They do the clock in all of them
so
too.
good, and like
In
yeah,
like every single time.
yeah,
I don't know
all,
why.
like
but-
all of like what the Insidious, Conjurings, all
Yeah.
that shit. Yeah, that must be like.
Oh, I was just talking about the movie, but
Oh
Do
no,
they
but
do
I
it in
feel
the-
like I feel like I've seen it though in Insidious and The Conjuring, where like the clock will do something. So maybe that is
yeah,
like a trope of theirs that they've like carried
Yeah.
over.
maybe.
But it is a very effective scene.
Yeah.
And it's great for like the tension building because she makes her way over to the to Billy, and then like the sheet just flies off and she gets attacked by something.
I like when I like when you see the lightning and you're
Oh,
waiting to hear
yeah.
and you're waiting to hear the thunder and it doesn't happen and it's just like she's just kind of like a little disoriented ish, you know, like what the fuck is going on here? But does Billy does Billy say anything when he's under the sheet? No, right?
I
not to
almost,
her.
Not to her. No.
No, I don't remember.
To Jamie, yes, but I feel like
that was a good scene though, like when she's creeping into the room and she
there's
sees
that
him.
humming.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
Billy's song.
Yeah.
Right?
She might hear that. I don't remember, even though we just watched this movie again for the
I know,
second
I'm like
time.
trying to think. It's hard because auditory, it's all auditory, which I love. And I feel like movies now, like what's the one now? Bum ba da bum 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 bum. John Krasinski.
Oh, A Quiet Place.
A Quiet Place. I feel like those horror movies that kind of lean into like the sound design of everything. That was like one of my favorite things about Dead Silence is like everything is like your tension's turned up to 11 because you're waiting for the sound is what makes half a jump scare like that much better.
And especially when it goes
like,
silent
so
and then you get the big boom.
And then they use it in Insidious. All of the jump scares that like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
From Insidious.
I might watch those tonight.
But it's probably playing off of that like primal thing in humans. Like, you know, when you're walking in the forest or like walking in the woods, if you stop hearing everything, like all the background noise, you know you're like fucked.
They say
when it goes like
all right.
Animals are the first.
I'm gonna get into a little Nick
side
knows
tangent.
I'm a big Bigfoot believer.
Yeah,
but they say when there's a presence of a Bigfoot, most wildlife will get completely silent.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing like an animal instinct, right?
The intimidating presence of. All right, enough about that.
Yeah. No, I know. I can go put a pin in that because I will talk to you about that later.
Yeah.
I love stuff like that. Like, I don't like to say any of the names of them, but like the things that are out in the woods.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like
this
definitely.
fucking thing on my arm.
You got one? Oh my.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
No.
Yep.
So scary. There's a tree by my house. Okay, we can't.
Yo,
keep going
that's
on.
crazy.
There's a tree by my house that looks like one, and I'm like,
yo, that I don't.
I'm, like,
okay, so
watching you.
I'm gonna say I was vibing, and there was a tree that fucking turned into a Wendigo looking thing.
You said the name.
When was this?
A couple of
Did it move away?
No.
I hate when you can tell that it's not moving, but it seems like it's like staying still.
Yeah.
Like. Yeah.
All I'm gonna say is like a tree looked like a Wendigo to me at a certain point in time, where I was having good time near the woods.
Okay.
And yeah.
I gotta show you a video of this tree by my house, and you'll see what I'm saying. 'Cause it's just eerie. It just kind of puts your hair on edge.
Oh yeah, actually no, you sent me a video of it.
Of the tree by my house, right? I'm like, I never noticed this tree before, and why is it staring at me?
Yeah.
But it's not moving. It's just like the wind is going.
Yeah,
you sent me
I'm
that.
like,
I know
nope.
exactly the one you're talking about.
No fucking way. Thank you. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
That whole the sound cutting out is what we were talking about. Like the sound cutting out, like it has to be something primal in us where it's like that reaction.
Something's not right.
It's like something.
It's too
it's
quiet.
like the first thing to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, she sees Billy, or she sees
something with that pops up from Billy. She's attacked. She starts spitting up blood, and she's dragged off.
Yep.
And she's screaming. Her mouth is gaping,
which is what you do not want to do.
Yeah.
If you're going by the
Shaw,
poem, be sure to never ever scream.
Otherwise, she'll rip your tongue out from the seam.
Yeah.
Why did I write
like
the
that.
sound when he moves his head? So millennium.
What? Who? Billy?
Billy, yeah. I guess when she's in the closet doing something and he moves his head.
Yeah.
What sound happens there?
I love the little side eye that Billy always gives.
Oh yeah,
too.
he's like.
That's
super
so
creepy.
vaudeville.
You can hear,
very
you can
vaudeville.
hear his eyes creaking, and then he just kind of like.
Side note too, I know we mentioned it before, but that doll is gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
Like I was, obviously he's scary, it's creepy, whatever. But I'm like, whoever made this fucking doll, like, I should have looked that up too.
Yeah, Trick or Treat Studios has like a fucking model of it, but you could tell that was like made from real wood and actually painted and not. I'm sure like the model is kind of like plastic, like old Charlie here. So, it's fucking.
But just
the true ventriloquist dummies that are made of wood with levers and shit.
They're like it's, and I mean
art.
they have the whole like thing in the beginning, which I was like, What did I write? This was the inspo for AHS opening is what I wrote when I was watching the
Probably.
opening.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
And I actually looked it up. The person who did the music for American Horror Story.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Which, I mean, look into that a little more because I'm not sure which one it was, but it sounded familiar. And then that whole opening, I'm like, you know.
Yeah.
But the whole the opening of like seeing what goes into like making the perfect doll.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Billy's like the model for the perfect doll. And yeah, I love that opening.
That's
fucking
her.
credits.
That's Mary Shaw's "I Want" song. Is the Howard Ashman who wrote "Little Shop of Horrors" and "The Little Mermaid." The main protagonist always has an "I Want" song. They sing about, you know, like Little Mermaid, "Part of Your World," or in Audrey sings "Somewhere That's Green," like the thing that they want the most.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the opening title sequence is Mary Shaw's "I Want"
the
song.
perfect doll.
She's like, "I want the perfect doll."
Yeah,
She's the true
because
star.
that theme is used throughout the movie quite
Yeah.
often. So
Yep, and
Makes
it's hinted
sense.
at it too that she does succeed.
So yeah, Jamie shows back up to the apartment, and now all of a sudden, all of like the music's going, the fucking tea kettle's blasting. He's got the Chinese. He's like, Lisa.
He's got the rose
Yeah,
too,
He's
man.
got the
Yeah.
rose.
It shows he was like such a thoughtful guy, you know?
Yeah, you
Just
know?
loved her.
He just loved her.
He's
Yeah.
a real
Loved her.
romantic guy, you know. But he's he's like, Lisa, like, what's going on here? You're trying to burn the place down. And you hear her voice, but it sounds a little weird. And I'm over here, Jamie, and he's just like, ooh, dinner in bed. Okay, I see where this is going. Grabs 2 fucking glass bottles of Coke, and
I'm glad it was Coca-Cola's, not beers.
yeah, because you know what, like Coca-Cola and Chinese food,
Yes.
That hits.
That shit
Yeah.
hits so hard, especially
In the
from
bottle.
a bottle.
Fuck.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was that real sugar.
That real
too.
cane sugar.
Yeah.
Real cane sugar,
There's
yeah.
nothing like a Coke from Mexico, like with the real cane sugar.
They
out
do
of
them with the
bottle.
Sprites too, man. You
Yeah.
can still
Just
get
next
those.
level.
All of
Fucking
them as well.
crispy.
That's what I get when I go to Chipotle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You
same.
get them at Chipotle.
Last time I got Chipotle, I got the fucking Sprite from Mexico.
Yeah.
It was so good. But yeah, so he notices that there's like blood on the floor, and he's like, "What the fuck?" He makes his way over to fucking Lisa, and he pulls the sheet, and it's almost like another jump scare because she's like
Messed
there.
up.
Oh my god, mouth agape, fucking tongue ripped out. Like she looks fucked.
Yeah, terrible death for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Definitely painful.
and he's just like, Jamie's just in
Yeah,
complete shock.
No, then we get the eye.
Oh,
I love
eye
that transition.
Yes, that's right. Yep, the eye
Where we
transition.
go into Jamie's eye,
Yep.
and then we come out of his eye, and he's outside the house, and the cops are there.
Yep.
And then, like, we go back into his. I was like, "Why are we going back? Why are we going back in
Yeah.
his eye?" And then we come out of his eye, and he's in the
interrogation.
he's in the
room.
interrogation room.
And then our guy here, Donnie Wahlberg, shows up as the detective.
Donnie.
With the fucking
What's his-
razor. What's the deal with
what's
the
the-
razor, man?
So
What
my
did I-
man is he's always got that
Wants
5
clean
o'clock
shave.
shadow that he's always trying to smooth out with the electric razor and get it real tight. But he doesn't he'll just do a little bit here and there, like, bro,
Yeah.
He just
commit.
does his neck.
Commit,
He keeps
bro.
going on his
Commit.
neck.
You can't just little bit, just not smooth enough, because he obsesses over it.
Right.
But I love that he walks in, he's like, you know what your mistake was? The rose. And Jamie's like, what? What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, he doesn't think that like he's in any kind of shit or anything.
Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously he's innocent, but what a horrible situation. We'd mentioned this, right?
Yeah.
When we were talking about it, it's just like you are
You're
the
fucked,
number one
brother.
suspect, man. It's like there's no. They were even saying there was like no there was no hesitation marks. There was no signs of a fight back or anything like that.
Or
you
signs of a
know,
break-in.
or signs of
Yeah.
a break-in or anything.
Yep.
They're like, this is crazy, and there was no drugs in the toxicology or anything like that, because I guess she was one of the ladies was briefing him before he had went in to talk to him. But you're in a really bad fucking situation, dude.
She mentioned too, she's like, I had never seen like someone's mouth like that,
This is all extended edition.
Is it?
I don't remember this. I don't remember what you're talking about.
No, it can't be.
I didn't watch. I didn't watch extended. Yeah, no.
Yeah, we did
Did he
last
talk
night,
to
but-
somebody? Did he talk to somebody else?
Yeah, so there's like the pathologist.
He doesn't talk to the pathologist.
Really? In the theatrical?
I do not believe so. It's a woman?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
like right before he comes in, he's like, you know what your
Or-
mistake was? The rose. It was the
Yeah.
rose.
Or you know what? Actually, maybe
He
it
was
was
talking that I remember.
maybe it was afterwards. I don't know.
Maybe
Either
it was
way, he was
after.
definitely talking to
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah, he was talking to
I
the
don't remember.
pathologist.
Yeah, I don't remember. Maybe
You had
I don't
When
remember.
Harry Met Sally on your mind. Because you told me as soon you were like, I'm about to watch Dead Silence, and then you texted me immediately, and you were like, ooh, but they also have When Harry Met Sally.
Such a
Your fucking head
slut.
wasn't in the game, dude.
Such a slut for Meg Ryan movies
Passively
in the fall.
watched Dead Silence, and then you
Yeah.
actively
Yeah.
watched the fucking Meg Ryan
The
movies.
fuck is this? Some rom-com shit? All right. I don't know.
Yo,
Is Meg Ryan?
it is
or
a
what
it is a
movie is it?
master. It's When Harry Met Sally.
Is it a rom-com? I'm sure, right?
It is, but it's a masterclass in dialogue done right.
Okay.
The dialogue in
I
that
do
movie
appreciate good dialogue.
Holds up.
Which we
Oh my
talk
God.
about,
We
like-
can't talk When Harry Met Sally
Yeah,
right now.
no, but like just talking about dialogue, we were talking about like we saw Christine at the last Fright Fest drive-in
Mhm.
event, and just talking about like how good the fucking dialogue was for Christine. Like when fucking movies have good dialogue, like
yeah.
Yeah, when
So
you have
makes it-
top-notch actors
yeah,
Yeah.
and top-notch dialogue.
And the
just, like,
chemistry when
top-notch execution.
when the chemistry is there, when it's just like the give and take.
yeah.
Absolutely. I
Love
mentioned
that.
that to you because I was telling you this fucking got me a little bit of shook. I was watching The Exorcist 3 the other night, and I told you right about how they say my fucking name in the movie.
Told
Yeah.
you need to add that to your Instagram story.
I know.
on the podcast
know,
Instagram
I
story
know.
because that's funny.
But you were saying, you were like, yeah, I don't really know why people like Exorcist 3 so much. It's kind of a boring movie.
Yeah, I found it to be pretty boring.
But the acting and the dialogue, dude.
I mean, you got Brad Dourif there, of course, too. So like, but I don't know, just he wasn't enough for me. And they say like the world's best jump scare, and it didn't get me.
Which one was the world? What was the world's
So
best
when
jump
the
scare
nurse
in
like
it?
comes out of the room and she's like walking back through the
Oh,
hallway,
and then the fucking the guy behind her.
They say it's like the
No,
world's best
definitely
jump scare or some
No.
shit. But I digress. But back on to Dead Silence.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had to call me out
I did.
for
Yeah.
the When Harry Met Sally.
fucking
But I swear to God, that pathologist I did not see.
So maybe
it
that
might
wasn't
be
the extended
No,
cut.
man, because
I don't know.
we watched both of the cuts. So there's an
Yeah.
unrated version, and then there's obviously the theatrical
theatrical, yeah.
version, and I'm pretty sure whatever's on Tubi's the theatrical. But
Mhm.
as far as like I know, the only difference between the two are Mary Shaw's tongue, which
What?
is yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta
So-
watch the extended now, or just the
No, you
scenes that
really
I
don't,
missed.
though.
No, you really don't. It really
Just-
doesn't even.
I'll just watch the scene I missed.
Yo,
Yeah.
Universal.
I'll look it up on. YouTube.
We don't get it.
Universal. Like,
And I say
No,
Mary
I get
Shaw's
it now.
tongue because
I
go
get
on,
it
sorry.
now in the extent of all that they've like. You said there was a lot of studio interference, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got another Halloween 6 on our fucking hands, and one of their choices was this CGI tongue that Mary Shaw has.
Yeah.
So each time, I'm jumping ahead here, but each time she kills one of her victims,
Yeah.
she like takes their tongue and eats it with hers. It almost looks like Venom's tongue.
Yeah, and she's
it
like,
be-
now I have your voice.
Yeah, so now
and
she
that's
get-
how she gets the voices of
I
the
guess
people.
that was
Okay.
too frightening for the theatrical cut, even though it looks horribly CGI'd. Like,
Might have killed some of the pacing, or they just thought it didn't need to be.
but it's only like two scenes
No,
that
I-
just like.
That's so weird.
Personally, I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought
Yeah,
that
no,
it
the
added-
aspect of it is good. It's just the digital
Yeah.
effect doesn't hold up now. But yes, like I'm
like
like,
the
why
idea,
did this? Why did
idea
this
is
need to be cut
nice.
out?
Yeah.
You know, I just I don't know.
Sometimes it could honestly be anything. It could have been like it pushed them into. This movie was rated R,
Mhm.
though, so it's not even like it would
That's what
push
I'm
them
saying.
into NC-17.
Plus, again,
No
you got
way.
the makers of Saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Like-
it was definitely a pacing issue because, and let me tell you why, because that her having their voices, I feel like is just kind of like a given. Like you don't need to add in, and I'm just trying to think of like,
Well, yeah, because
when they're
naturally
sitting
she's a
trying to-
ventriloquist,
yeah, like-
so she can imitate voices.
yeah, but also just like trying to trim down time. If it was the difference between a couple of minutes,
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
That was the difference in time between both of the cuts.
I don't
just
know.
3 minutes.
It could
know
have been
what?
one. It could have been like maybe the audiences were like not about it, or like it
Let me ask the
literally
man
could have been
himself.
Maybe
anything.
it might
Let
have
me
been
ask the
something
man
with the
himself.
test audience.
So Charlie, you gotta tell me, bro. How was Mary Shaw's tongue game? Said it was too good, and that's why they cut it.
Yeah, no, I believe it.
Mhm. All right, so that was a choice for the theatrical
it was a
cut.
choice. I have to look.
And they only
Can we have like a run count of how many times Gabby says I have to look that up?
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna and you need to give me a list of everything I say I'm gonna look up because I really do want to look it up. Like I want to know why. Why did they cut that out?
Who knows?
Because I mean, it is kind of a given. It's like, oh, the person she killed, she can imitate their voice.
I'll tell you why.
I liked it.
studio interference. If you look back on
It's
like
a year
all the
voted
shit
studio,
like
yeah.
Daniel Farrens went through with Halloween 6, it makes sense.
There's
When
like
you have
a
studio
million different
interference-
cuts with that fucking movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Theatrical
just
producer, director,
yeah,
executive producer,
yeah.
whatever. You
It's
know.
crazy. It's crazy. So anytime a studio fucks with some shit, you know, you get stupid choices.
But
like
it was
cutting
literally
Mary's-
only
Mary's
3.
tongue out.
It literally only
Literally.
made a 3-minute difference, and it was only like 3 different scenes.
Maybe they
in
thought it was like more imposing to not have her seen as much until after we get the reveal with the coroner. Because you really don't see her in the flesh because there's that big reveal where the coroner is like, my father made her into a dummy herself. And we don't
Yeah.
find that out until like right before the third act starts. So
Well, one
maybe they
of
wanted
the
it
times,
to be like, we don't want to see her as much.
well, one of the times you do see
You see her in the
you
hotel
do see
room.
that tongue though. That whole
the
the
tongue?
whole cutout shit
yeah.
is the coroner's scene
Yeah.
When he's in the basement.
when he's in the basement
Yeah. When?
So,
when he gets killed.
When he gets killed?
yeah.
Do you remember
she-
when he's going?
We're jumping all around
It's
here. but
okay.
It's okay.
But do you remember? Do you remember?
I feel like it's naturally happening.
Yeah.
So.
Do you remember the scene where he goes underneath like that little bit of crawl space because he's looking for Marion?
Yeah, and she's like pretending to be Marion.
Yeah.
To
But
get
that's
him to
also
come
a
in.
really creepy scene too because you get that one shot of like when Mary Shaw's hand comes out of the darkness.
Yeah.
right? So I mean, he should have known better. That poor guy, dude. Like he
Poor
went
Henry.
he went like
Henry.
70 something fucking
He
years.
knew too. He knew not to scream.
Yeah, but he went his
Yeah.
whole life knowing.
Well, he knew, but then he fucked up.
and then he
because-
fucked up and screamed.
Yeah, because Mary Shaw did a whole fucking jump scare
She
on
jump
him. And she's
scared
like,
him.
got you, motherfucker. And
Yeah.
she-
So
so
then-
in the extended cut, or the unrated cut, if you will, that's where she takes his tongue, and that's where we see
Yeah.
her tongue.
It's out
and
of focus. Like
yeah.
you see him and he's like you get like side of his face and he's like
Yeah.
laying down and like whimpering and then like in the depth of field out of focus is like you
Yeah.
can see Mary Shaw like in the
see.
back and you like see her tongue coming out,
Yeah.
opening her mouth, and then she like grabs his tongue and then starts
Hmm.
to eat it and then she's like, now I have your voice, and then she kills
Yeah.
him.
Looks like the fucking liquors from fucking Resident Evil. her
Yes.
tongue.
Yeah, big
Yeah.
time. But I think we're focusing too hard on these
Extended
Extended
edition. Well,
edition
I mean,
shits.
I meant to make a point of it earlier to say that I just watched the theatrical release,
Yeah.
which personally, I enjoy seeing something as like a theatrical release first, and I usually enjoy the theatrical release more than extended cuts. Don't get me wrong, I love watching extended cuts and I love having the knowledge of those scenes that have happened, but pacing wise, they normally cut things and it makes sense.
Okay.
Now, my main viewpoint on this is mainly coming from enjoying the theatrical cuts of Lord of the Rings more than the director's cuts because those movies are so fucking long.
They really are. As much as I do like them, they're a chore.
That's
but-
funny you bring it
Yeah.
up because I'm like figuring in November. I'm gonna probably watch all of the Lord of the Rings.
I do that all the
extended
time.
in November because I dedicate December to Harry Potter.
Oh, December.
Okay, you're a
okay.
December Harry
I'm
Potter
a
kid.
December Harry Potter
Yeah,
kid.
you
Yeah,
know
because it's got
me.
like a Christmassy feel.
Are you
Yeah,
not Harry Potter?
you know?
or-
No,
At least
no,
for, like,
no.
the
It's
first
just
3.
like my watch list for December is just as busy as my watch list for October.
Mhm.
So I bounce back between Christmas classics and all right, no, we're done because this is October and I ain't fucking giving into that bullshit. I literally went
Yeah,
to Dollar General the other day and there was a fucking Christmas aisle.
You've now become what you've always hated,
yeah,
Steven.
so we're done with
we're
this.
done talking
we're done with
December.
But like, aren't we happy that now October stuff is getting pushed to August?
Yes and no because I mean
No, because it
it's a cycle.
It cheapens it.
Yeah.
It
It's a
cheapens
cycle.
it.
yeah, it cheapens it out.
Yeah.
They're just trying to push it out earlier. Like I'd rather see it through all of October
Yeah,
than
no, I agree.
than seeing fucking because
Yeah.
like right now like probably for like the next 2 weeks or so it's like you could still go to like a CVS or a Walgreens and get like Halloween shit if you wanted to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then It's just
the
they
last week of October.
yeah
like,
they just push it
just
out
put it
quick.
Yeah.
Like if you need something quick and you go to like fucking
You're fucked 'cause it's all
Walgreens 'cause
Christmas
it's all
shit.
Christmas shit
Yeah.
at that point, you know.
Yep. All right. So yeah, back onto
this. So we were talking about the pathologist, and he's
So, yeah,
he's finding out he's the main suspect, and
Yeah.
that's got to fucking.
But he's not
suck.
under arrest, you know. But
No.
now he's got to like figure out like what the fuck is going on here.
He
So
even says he's like, "I'll do your job for you."
yeah,
Like,
exactly. So he tells him he's
rogue.
like, yeah, he tells him he's like, you're a free man for now.
Yeah.
So then he ends up leaving, and then he goes back to the apartment, and then he sees that Billy the puppet's still there. So he's like looking for like some kind of answer as to like what the fuck is up, and then he sees that there's a little bit of a tear in the
velvet
in
fabric.
the velvet fabric, and it says Mary Shaw Ravens Fair, and then he's like fuck, he ends up driving back to his hometown, and then we find that like this guy Jamie comes from like a pretty aristocratian looking I don't even think that's a word, but
well off.
Yeah.
family. Like his dad lives in a mansion, they have like this big fucking gate that opens up when he's driving up, and then he goes inside the house, and then he is greeted by a woman who seemingly knows him very fucking well, and he has no idea who she is, and it turns out her name's Ella, right?
Yeah.
And that's his now stepmother, and she's pretty young.
Yeah. She's like, I'm your mommy.
Total hot stepmom.
Yeah, I guess I'm your stepmom. And he doesn't really give a fuck. He's like, where's my dad?
Yeah.
So
he's not surprised by it at all, because dad probably didn't tell him anything throughout his life anyway.
Rich dad, young mom. Yep. It seems like the MO, really.
Yeah. I'm also kind of sad that they didn't do more in the mansion.
That's a nice set piece.
That's a nice set piece.
It
but
was.
you were saying before the settings, the exteriors
the set designs
are
are fucking absolutely
beautiful.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, this was
That
James
and the
Wan's
feeling,
Hammer
yeah.
film.
Yeah.
Gloomy.
I love the town of Ravens Fair itself.
Atmospheric,
Yeah.
low fog everywhere,
I mean, there's that one shot that you go to, the hearse, where Henry's pulling up with Lisa's
I
body.
love it, dude. I rewound it like 2
Yeah.
times yesterday after. I was like, let me just rewind this shit.
Wait, which scene?
So it's the one scene when his name's Henry, right?
Yeah.
So when he has Lisa's body in the hearse, and he's driving slow through Ravens Fair at night, and then he pulls up. It's just like that one like low shot at the funeral home, and he's like pulling up, and it's got like the fog rolling in as he's like
nice.
driving up. But it's just like the old school hearse and shit too. But the way he like pulls up, and I was just like, if I had gotten that shot, I'm gonna steal it. I'm gonna do it somehow.
Yeah.
But it was just like, it was cool the way that it like fucking pulled up. I
Yeah,
loved
good
it.
atmosphere, good
Yeah.
shot.
And we love when the fog is a paid actor.
Oh,
And he's
yeah.
like, "Oh, you look beautiful, honey."
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Dude.
Love the heavy fog.
Oh, me
Yeah.
too, man.
Yo, I don't know about you guys, but like up by me lately in the mornings, the fog has been so
Oh, yeah.
dense. Like my drives to work, like I was like,
It hits
damn.
early in the morning.
We live on the
Really sick.
river, and it's like
I was gonna say, yeah.
it like rolls on the river.
That's so awesome. It's
So
kind of like,
cool.
Dude, that happened when we
Carpenter's The
were
Fog.
at VHS Fest that one night. Remember when
yes,
the fog
when it was
rolled in?
just chilling in,
yeah.
in
Dude,
the fucking
everybody was
drive-in,
like super
yeah.
hyped about
Yeah,
it. We
it
were
was
like,
cool.
"Yo, this
Like
is
getting their cameras.
yeah,
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. I appreciate a
the
good
shot.
fog, you know.
Yeah. Good atmosphere. Yeah.
But this movie's got tons of it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so fucking, Jamie like wants to fucking talk to his dad, and his dad's being like super nice, and Jamie's like, what the fuck? And then he sees too that his dad's in a wheelchair, and his dad's like, yeah, I had a stroke, and
about
stroke
2 weeks ago.
Stroke 2 months ago.
2 months ago,
Yeah,
yeah.
and he's like, stroke changes a man, Jamie, but like, let's get this funeral arranged, and he's like,
Willing to
I
pay
don't-
for it. And he's like,
Yeah.
I don't need your fucking money. He's like, this is the least I could do as your father. And he's like, you've already done the least you could do as a father.
my whole life.
My
which
whole
was
life,
a pretty
right.
good line. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, hated his dad. So he was like, oh, I would ship you off because of your own good and everything. And so, yeah, they didn't have a good relationship.
Yeah.
And
then
then
we noticed too, like, what's her name? Ella is trying to stop like Jamie to be like, look, your dad's not the same guy. And he points out all of these paintings of previous
Oh, yeah.
wives.
where
Where
they're
they're,
all,
like,
they're all painted
covered.
out.
Mhm,
Yeah.
They're all painted
Yeah,
out
he
from
points
either
out how,
committing
like-
suicide or just dipping.
Yeah.
Which we come to find out Jamie's mom, why she's not in the pictures, because she killed herself. So yeah, it's just a little
I do,
continuity
yeah.
and shit.
I love that of him like going down, getting a little bit of the family history. I do.
Yeah.
I think in terms of like the way that they unravel the story as you're going through it, which is why I was like, I didn't think it was that bad. I was wondering like why he was so upset with the script, but it was definitely like for other
Yeah,
reasons of like
other
things where he
bullshit.
wanted to go with it, because learning about his family backstory, and it's like the little pin of like this leads him to Raven's Fair, leads him to his father, and we get this whole dynamic just from this short conversation between him and his father. And then
Whannell's a good writer.
yeah, the only thing I wasn't crazy about was Ella's character. I didn't really. I feel like I didn't see her enough or like get enough from her to like know.
And there's
like,
a reason
there's a
why.
reason
there's
why.
a reason why. But I feel like that's the only thing I'm left with at the end. I'm like, but who was this woman?
There's an
Like,
alternate ending.
Yeah.
There is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's an alternate
Okay,
ending.
cool.
That kind of explains.
That explains it all.
Yeah, like
and,
who she is. 'cause-
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's like, obviously, well, I mean, spoilers, but like, we find out who she is at the end, but it's like, was it just some random chick that she decided to like
No.
possess? Or it
Nope.
was like she was connected
She's
to
like
it?
a descendant.
descendant?
No, she.
Or
But she
no,
had
no.
no children, only
no,
dolls.
she was. No, she was the.
Yeah,
so
you're
in
right.
the.
She's not a descendant.
So in the. So in the alternate ending that they have, they give more of an explanation as to who she is, and she is ultimately the one that conjures, Mary Shaw's,
Mhm.
spirit
by
Mhm.
digging up all the
by
ghosts.
digging up all the
or the dolls.
by
dolls.
digging up the dolls because of the father, because the
Okay.
father's abusive and hits her and and all of this shit. And I mean, another thing also is like Mary Shaw doesn't really like the Ashen family
Yeah.
to begin
Yeah,
with because
so I was
of the
thinking
young
maybe she was
because of the young
connected to
boy.
the boy somehow.
No, she
No.
was just his wife, and then she
Yeah.
was abused, and I think she was.
Oh, okay.
I think she was with child too,
she might have been.
if I'm not mistaken.
But she goes and she digs up Billy,
Yeah,
and
none of
then
this is in the
and then
version I
this
watched,
is
yeah.
and then I guess like this is Mary Shaw's invitation to
to like fuck shit up. Yeah.
take over.
Yeah.
At this point.
Which we get the back history later of like Mary Shaw being murdered by Jamie Ashen, like the Ashen family.
Yeah.
And, that just, I think, gives Mary Shaw even more of a reason. Like, yeah, I'll fucking help you out. Fuck them
Yeah.
Ashens. Like, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you,
Yeah,
girl.
she, like,
I
props-
got
all
a
the
fucking
people
score
who-
to settle
all
with
the
them
people-
anyways.
But she like props him
Yeah.
up for a family photo and everything at the end because like Jamie and the father and Lisa.
Oh yeah, I
and-
love
and all
love
of that,
the
and-
photos at in the theatrical release they just had like a montage of
yeah.
the photos
This
of
time
all
you
of them
see
as
him.
dummies.
She props him up and everything, and so.
Yeah.
But it was an
Fun.
alright ending, like
Yeah.
I thought it's an alright alternate ending. I kind of like the way that this ends, but I get what you're saying though. It's like you don't really get much of the Ella character. But,
Yeah. But I mean, we kind of went off on that because I was mentioning that I just love that little bit because we really only get a couple conversations with his father to really see that dynamic, and it's like they get so much in so little. I feel like it's like a 2-minute scene,
Yeah.
and you already know exactly what's going on. You know who he is, where he's been, what his relationship with his
Mhm.
father is, and there's like no questions about it.
Yeah.
So we really don't see the father again until like way later, but. So then he goes. Where does he go from there? He goes right to the coroner, right? Because he's got to meet to pick up her body.
He's got to meet and pick up her body for the funeral. Henry he opens the body bag and he sees Lisa's like mouth all fucked up. And he's
Yeah.
like,
And he
oh,
knows.
no, like not
Yeah.
again. Yeah,
It's
so
happening
he knows,
again.
Yeah, so he knows that like this has happened before, and Jamie has the funeral for his wife, and the only one on his side of the family is his new stepmom.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when he goes like searching for Mary Shaw's. Well, he sees Marion, and he
Yeah.
like kind of follows her, and that's when he discovers Mary Shaw's grave and all these other graves of like
All the dolls.
all of the
Yeah.
dolls. And then Marion tells kind of like,
Bury
Mary
him.
Shaw like killed your wife, and he's like, who the fuck, what?
Yeah.
Which, I'm like, why are you shocked, bro? Like all the evidence is
Yeah.
kind of there. The doll showed up. That was Mary Shaw's doll once you tore the fabric. Like, why are you acting so
Yeah.
shocked that
And
she's
he
like-
already knows that like something fucked up
Yeah.
is going
Yeah.
on too.
but, so that's when he gets some more context about like Mary Shaw and her whole lore. And that's
Mhm.
when he hears the full fucking, rhyme because Marion says it. And then Henry's like, yeah, leave him alone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she pulls him
Come
away. But then
now.
as she's like being pulled away, you hear her say, "Bury the doll."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I mean, I guess like I guess that's like what you need to do in order to kind of like kill that curse, is to bury all the dolls, right?
There's also another great scene before he goes and buries the doll. There's this great first night in the hotel, right?
With the red
Yes.
light.
Oh my!
Yeah.
And it's just like fucking.
Yeah.
And,
you get
you know,
Billy's side eye.
Yeah,
you
Billy's fucking side eye and it just fucking dude, great side eye.
I remember right before they started going, because I knew what was gonna. I had remembered this scene from like originally seeing it when I was like a teenager, but I knew that the sound was gonna cut out. But right before it started cutting out, I like kind of forgot about it, and I was like, God, the fucking light sound is so annoying. It was like grating
Imagine
on me, and then it
sleeping
cuts
in
out.
that, though.
But I was like, if I was staying in this hotel, I would be so fucking mad right now because that light is so obnoxiously loud. But then I was like, oh yeah, they're gonna
Yeah,
okay.
and it's
like
peering through the fucking
And
window.
there's the faucet
Yeah.
dripping in the
Yeah.
sink, and then that stops.
We see Mary Shaw here too.
Yep,
I love.
we do.
Is she the reflection or?
No,
No, she's behind the curtain.
She's behind the curtain, which I think is such a creepy scene when like she's just silhouetted
hate
behind the
that.
curtain. But then they do this like weird edit choice that I just wouldn't have done. It was just a very mid 2000s kind of thing to do. I think if they would have just let Mary Shaw's face like slowly press through the curtain a bit, like getting closer, like that's more effective.
What was
than
the effect that they did though?
They did
didn't
some weird like fast shake sped up edit where it's like shh, you know, like just,
But I mean, that's very Saw.
yeah, you're right.
It's like his style.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, yeah, it would have been more unsettling to just have her like
face
coming,
pressing
yeah.
like just
I
But
could
that's
see
a
that.
great scene because at that point too, like Jamie sees like Mary Shaw, and then next thing he looks over and fucking Billy's like right there by his bed.
Jump scare.
Yes, yeah. Some effective
But
ones.
they had two in that, which I thought was really interesting. So it's Billy sitting at the thing, but there's a mirror that he's looking at that Billy's reflection is in.
Yeah.
So it's like you even get that additional of like him like looking like what and
yeah,
love it.
I love that first
That whole
night at
little,
the
like,
hotel
yeah.
scene is really good. So yeah, moving back or jumping forward. So Jamie has to bury these dolls. So he goes to the graveyard with Billy and digs up his grave and puts him in there. But before he does, Billy's fucking head does a whole fucking turn like
Yeah.
Charlie over here,
Yeah.
which is fucking great.
Yeah.
And then
Well, to answer that question though, he also says though, he's like, "Who dug you up?" Right?
Yeah.
That's
But,
it. Yeah,
but to answer that question in the deleted scene or in the alternate ending, it is the stepmother who is the one that
dug them
that
all
dug-
up.
that dug him up.
That dug him up.
Him up.
What about
That
all
dug
the
Billy
other
up.
ones we don't know?
yeah. I'm sure she dug up the
Probably, yeah.
She
In a
well,
haze.
she
Yeah.
she might have because like.
but
that's,
she started. I bet you, like she started with Billy.
and then
'Cause
maybe
he was
Mary Shaw
the-
took it
Yeah,
from
he's the
there.
favorite.
One.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
His mama's boy.
the spirit of Mary Shaw
Sorry,
took it
Charlie.
from there.
You ain't mama's boy. You know, don't take it so fucking personal, bro. I'm sorry. I don't know what to
But when he's driving in the car too to go and bury him, right? It's like we also get that
Oh,
awesome
we get another side eye,
I love
man.
the Billy side eyes,
Billy's
man.
side eye is fucking great.
And then what's his song? The
That fucking humming and shit.
I
yeah.
like it.
No, it's
Yeah.
Ring Around the Rosie.
Is
yeah.
that, yeah.
Ring around the
yeah,
rosy.
you're right.
I love
And
that too, yeah.
so
Very childish.
he's going to like we said, bury Billy. Billy does the whole fucking head thing.
He's watching
and
him
then
in the car.
fucking well, even when he puts him in the fucking
Oh,
casket,
yeah,
like
you're
right
right,
before
you're
he
right,
shuts
yeah.
the
Yeah.
lid, Billy's like,
Yeah, he's like,
just
mm.
fucking.
You're like, fuck
Does he
no.
stop?
And-
I don't
No,
remember.
he's like he looks at it and then he's like just seals it,
Yeah.
buries it, and then gets back into his car. And then we hear like
everything.
everything gets silent, and we get a nice jump scare, like Billy like
Of
right
him
behind
at
him.
the
Window
window
of
at the
the
car
car,
window. I'm
yeah.
like, don't open the door.
After Jamie like buries Billy, or so he thinks, and Billy pops off, and we get the presence of Mary Shaw, if you will. He heads back to the hotel, and he comes out the bathroom, and there's fucking Billy right on his bed, and it's like, oh shit, what the fuck you doing here? And then it's revealed again that old Donnie Wahlberg and Detective Lipton has been following Jamie, and he wants to know why Jamie buried Billy.
Yeah, it's like evidence though. Like if you think about
Yeah.
it, because of like how fucked of a situation that Jamie's in, it could be like burying evidence or whatever.
Yeah.
But then again, like if the doll was any sort of importance to the investigation, he probably would have held on to it though.
Yeah,
But,
after the initial.
yeah.
That's what I was saying when he went back to the crime, but this is also just the day and age that we're in. I'm like, he's literally walking into a crime scene and taking the doll to, like, when he goes back to his apartment. I'm like, why didn't they take that? Why didn't they take that in the beginning? But I mean,
Yeah.
it's a doll. But
And I think
it
they-
was big a part of his story. It was like this doll showed up, and then, you know, I feel like nowadays people would be like, oh, like, we'll take the doll, but
Yeah,
It's
there's enough true crime shows that
It's
like,
a totally
everyone's a
unbelievable
fucking-
story
Yeah.
and an unbelievable scenario that like he's in, where it's like,
yeah, like
I mean, I'm beating a dead
yeah.
horse when I say that he's like the main suspect in it, you know. But Donnie Wahlberg, Detective Lipton, he also says like, didn't I tell you not to leave the state?
Yeah.
So he's either
Yeah.
out of state or out of town or something like that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, he told me, directed him not to go out. So
Yeah, and Jamie's like, is it against the law to bury my wife? And he's like, no, but bearing evidence. And, you know, he's like, well, if you won't answer my questions, maybe you'll fucking answer his. And he fucking takes Bill and he's like, why did you bury me, Jamie? Why did you bury me? It's fucking silly. And, you know, he goes on about the ghost story of Mary Shaw and being buried with her dolls. And, you know, he don't want to hear it. So he's like, I'm taking this. And I'll see you in the morning, neighbor. And then Jamie's like, neighbor. And he pokes his head out, and there's fucking Donnie Wahlberg with fucking Bill, and he's just like, salute. Like Charlie Lee. Just like, hi, yep, I got the room right next to you, buddy. I got eyes on you, you know?
and then it cuts to the next morning, right? But then Donnie Wahlberg like leaves like super early in the morning, and
Yeah.
initially
Probably go get some coffee and a donut.
coffee, donut, and then
Typical cop shit, I guess.
and then Jamie fucking goes in the room and gets Billy again, doesn't he?
He gets Billy, and then he heads over to Henry Walker's fucking funeral home. And he's just like, what the hell is the deal with this? And
Donnie's going to the cemetery though.
yes, that's
later
right.
on
That's
what-
it. Donnie's going to the cemetery because he wants to know.
Yeah, he wants to see what's up with the dolls.
And then Jamie, that's when he heads over to the funeral home, the Walker funeral home, and he approaches Marion with the doll. He's like, friend of yours? Like thinking like she fucking
planted him or something,
planted him
right?
or something.
Mhm.
And then, you know, Henry shows up and he's like, you're not supposed to have that. And then we get like the flashback scene and
Yeah.
the true history of like Mary Shaw and just how this all began. And it's such a cool flashback scene, Gabby, if you want to take
I
over
know
on
you
this.
can see me vibrating in my seat.
talk,
Yeah, she's
talk.
itching,
It's
bro.
my favorite scene. It's my fucking favorite scene. But I love the whole sequence of it, of him like, and that's just like I love the whole like Agatha Christie like mystery novel type vibe. I love that he's like there and he's like, give me the story, and he's like, well, it was back like
Yeah.
he doesn't
Back
do that,
in the
but
heyday
it's like
of Ravens Fair.
yeah, like back in the day, and you get like the nice little like exterior of the theater, and you see all the
theater
people
on the
walking
Lake
in.
Lost.
Yeah,
And the only way to
And
get
the-
to it is on the
on the
bridge. And
bridge.
it seems like it was like the real place where like everybody hung out, you know?
and you get like the lights,
The premier
and,
spot of Ravens Fair.
I love the vibe of like a theater. Like, I
Right.
just love.
And that, again,
Love
more
it.
of those Argento reds, and
Yep.
we get Henry's perspective from when he was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
played by a young Keir Gilchrist, who is notably of It Follows and a bunch of other like movies, and like there's some series that he's in on Netflix that is like a big hit these days. But Keir Gilchrist, it's so funny because he's just this like seems like this chill, laid back actor, and my man fronts 2 death grind bands, one of them being Whelm and the other Phalanx. So just to hear my boy Kier have that fucking dog in him, if you're into death grind, definitely check out those 2 bands, just because like hearing his vocals and just seeing Kier like as a person, you know, like, and It Follows he's like the nerdy dork, you know.
Mhm.
So, but nah, my
How old
man-
is he in Dead Silence? Would you say like 10, 11?
He looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks to be like definitely not older than 10 or 11.
Yeah, so
in-
he's
so-
small. He's small.
So in the flashback scene, we're in a packed theater house.
Yeah.
And it's Mary Shaw's showcase.
Am I remembering this correctly? Does it seem warmer to you? The coloring?
Yeah, it definitely
doesn't
does.
it seem like when we go, which I also love that kind of trope where it's like you go to a flashback of the heyday and everything's a little bit warmer. It's not like as many blues.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'm recalling it.
You might be right.
I
I don't
think
know
it
if I
is.
don't know if I
I know
noticed.
it's still like grainy, like it's a flashback.
Yeah, a little bit
But
of
it's
bleak.
not as like gray, cool.
They almost do that
blue.
like silent era, like the lines and shit
Yeah,
of like during the
film.
flashback.
Yeah.
Nice little
They
touch.
do that. Yeah, they do that at the beginning and the end
Yep.
sequences as
Yep,
well.
you're right.
Nice little bookends.
Yeah.
But yeah, it feels warmer. I don't know if it actually is, or if it's just because it's like she's alive and this is like Mary Shaw is really the she's the real protagonist in the movie.
Yeah. Oh,
It's her story.
I mean, yes and no, because like,
she was the one who was wrong.
Yeah,
technically.
well, she was wrong, but she did like abduct that kid and like fucking.
Yeah.
The
kid was an asshole.
I mean,
He
he
was a bit
was.
of an asshole.
He
Kid was
was
a
an
little shit.
asshole.
I can
He
see
ruined
your
the
lips
show.
moving.
Yeah.
I love.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's a great flashback though. And,
Yeah.
And then, like,
So,
furthermore,
yeah.
like in the flashback, Henry like proceeds to talk about like the night where, the one at what is it, Ash? What's her last name?
Ashman?
What's her last name?
Ashen.
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 Yeah, where like the Ashen boy went missing because he heckled Mary Shaw and Billy while they were on stage doing a bit, and then Billy goes like crazy.
Yeah, he's like, I'm
Yeah.
a real boy.
Yeah.
He turns into fucking Pinocchio.
Which
Yeah.
is actually very, like, because you've dabbled in it a little bit,
Yeah.
but that's very like
to do the
Yeah.
argument between Mary Shaw and Billy, which is what brings the crowd back in, because
How
again,
well she did it. She's a
yeah,
master.
she does it
She's
so
a master at her
well.
craft.
Like, yeah.
and to the point where like,
And
oh
it's
my
like
god,
seamless.
this is
Like
amazing.
it sounds like they're talking at the same
Yeah.
time. Which I mean, obviously they
I love it
filmed
'cause
they
then-
filmed it and it's a different guy doing
Yeah.
Billy's voice, but
I love it too because they film or they they have that back and forth, Mary Shaw and Billy, and the crowd is like, holy shit,
It was
like
good.
she's good,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like she's legit, and then she looks over at the fucking little Ashen boy and she's like, now who's the dummy?
Yeah.
yeah.
It's fucking great.
So,
but-
because like, not to get it twisted or anything, but it's like early on when I had watched this movie when I was a kid, like I was always under the impression that like Billy was alive or Billy
Which-
was, but it's not the
That's
case.
Goosebumps.
Yeah,
You
slappy
get it, like,
shit.
Yeah, you get like confused with Goosebumps.
Yeah,
'cause-
I would say, but
Yeah.
you kind of get that impression, but it's also like Mary Shaw kind of like living through him.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know,
she-
animating through
Yep.
him.
They're her
or
babies.
whatever that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
those
sure.
are her babies. Yeah, well,
And
101
then,
of them.
we get so it's revealed that like the Ashen family fucking obviously suspect Mary Shaw. Her and a few locals track her down, kill her by cutting out her tongue with a straight razor, and then it is Mary Shaw's request to not only be buried with her dolls, but to become a doll herself. So Henry's in the family business, so his dad is the funeral worker at the time and does the whole thing, and we get this nice shot, and it's great too
It's a
because
good
like
one.
as Henry's telling it from his adult perspective, we see young Henry in the background making his way down the
Mhm.
stairs into the basement of the funeral home.
I didn't catch that.
Oh, you did? Oh, yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
catch
If you look in
that.
the background, you see,
You see
young
him
Henry
walking?
creeping down as he's
Oh,
retelling his
I'm
experience.
gonna have to watch that again.
Yeah, it's
'cause
really
that's,
cool.
I love that
And,
shit.
You know,
Love that.
Henry goes down, he sees the fucking Billy the doll, and then he goes to look in the casket.
Yeah, as he's leaning on it, the way that they shoot it is like you
Yeah.
can see the leg teetering up.
And he knocks it over. And we don't see anything because it's dark in the basement, but then there's the flash of lightning, and we see like Mary Shaw turned into the ventriloquist doll, and it's fucking creepy. And like, Henry, like, he's just in the corner as a kid, just like all freaked out. And then like the body disappears, and there's another flash of lightning, and then like you see Mary Shaw like coming at young Henry, which that scene itself is creepy as fuck.
Yeah, you really
It's a
liked
great
it. You
scene.
pointed
Yeah.
it out
It's a great
yesterday. You were like,
scene.
that's fucking scary.
That's
That's a
sca-
scary
that
one.
that's scary as shit. If I saw something like that, even in my dreams, I'd be like, that'd probably wake me up if I had a dream about that scene.
I'll be honest. I was at the cabin with the girls yesterday,
Mhm.
and like we usually sleep with the TV on and whatever. But I was bunking in with Mariah, and we had the you can just see the moonlight through the curtains.
Yeah,
and
did she
and
sleep with
I'm-
the TV off?
Yeah, everything was
I
pitch.
hate-
Everything was pitch black. It was
That's
quiet.
how I sleep. That's how I sleep.
Pitch black?
Pitch
I
black.
can't.
Yeah.
It was, but it's just you
Sometimes
get the light coming in from the curtains, which also makes me think back to the cabin when we saw the ghost. But I'm not even gonna go on that
Yes.
tangent.
We'll talk about all that
but
shit
I
after.
literally that scene, Mary Shaw popped into my fucking head, and I'm like,
Mhm.
So I ended up putting my headphones on. I'm like, I can't sleep in silence like this.
I
and hear
fucking-
every single fucking noise that's happening because my
Dude.
brain's going. Like,
Whenever I hate fucking rooming with other people because you always have to like cater to the way they sleep. I feel.
well, it was just we're in
Yeah,
the
like,
Yeah.
Anytime we've got a hotel room, like I'll shut the TV off.
Yeah, I like sleeping with the TV on. I like a little
Hate it.
background too.
Yeah.
And dude, Mikey could definitely contest to this though. It's like any bachelor party or anytime we ever went on a fucking trip or something, like you'd pay good money for a room.
Yeah.
I would always sleep on the couch because I could sleep how I want to sleep. I could sleep with the TV on. I could,
You're
so-
not by the snorers.
Yeah, no, I don't sleep with anybody, right? I don't sleep. I always sleep on the couch. I'm a couch guy.
No, you just do a good job of checking in on us, like me.
I check in on you.
Yeah,
I checked in on you.
You said I sleep like the dead.
He sleeps like he's fucking dead. I had to like really like go up to
You
him. I
go
put a
in.
mirror under his nose just to make sure that he was breathing.
I do that with my kids.
That's the thing is like
I used
for
to
the
do that
most
with-
part, I'm a
with
light
the kids,
sleeper,
too.
but then once I've really hit that REM,
Out.
I'm out.
I'm a light sleeper. You said today you were like, oh, you were out like a light, and I was like, no, I wasn't. One fucking
One eye open.
One fucking eye open,
I
dude.
guess so.
Gripping your pillow.
Anyway, but I didn't mean to set
tight.
us on a tangent, but
That's
it
all
was
good.
funny because you're saying that, and I'm like, I literally almost had nightmares about her last night in that particular scene where she's like up and she's almost like floating towards
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
Like,
It
almost looks like she's on like a little crane, like a doll herself.
It reminds me of a scene in the original House on Haunted Hill with one of the
Yes,
crazy scares
yes.
with that old woman. Remember?
Yeah, that's like
Okay, I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to watch
yeah,
this. 'Cause
yeah.
I've never
Yeah.
seen it.
It's on
but-
Tubi.
Oh,
Check it out. It's one of
Tubi.
Vincent Price's
perfect
best.
Tubi.
October Halloween season
Yeah,
viewing.
that's a great
House on
flick.
Haunted Hill, the original with Vincent Price. It's
And if you
definitely-
wanted the remake, which is also
Yeah, it's
really
not
good
bad.
too, that's also on Tubi. So Tubi's gonna probably just end up sponsoring this
Tubi.
podcast
Yep.
because we love Tubi. I don't even watch Netflix anymore.
I was actually almost I was this
rid of
close to
it.
canceling it because I downloaded Tubi and I'm like, this shit's free. I don't care
Yeah.
about commercials.
Yeah, you get like 2 commercials. It's good.
Yeah.
Anywho's, we're
We're
but
going
anyways,
up,
like
Tubi.
that's what it reminded me of was that scene in House on Haunted Hill
yeah.
with
I
that
definitely see
That
that.
that
whole-
one ghost woman.
But yeah, that wraps up the whole flashback sequence where we get like the story of how she was heckled and how she was a master in her craft, and then we go into how she died, and then he's like, my father was the one that made her into a dummy, and then you see him in the scene as a child covering his mouth because he knows not to scream.
Yeah.
Because that's when the killings start happening, is right after Mary's death. Like
Mm-hmm.
all of those that were involved in Mary Shaw's killing start showing up with their tongues cut open, mouths agape like Lisa, and posed for family portraits. So not only does she get her victims, but she gets all of their families too.
Yeah, and then Henry shows Jamie all the portraits, and then he like reluctantly
He
has to tell them at the
but
end. He's
he,
like
like,
he's like the
shows
last
him.
one is your
It's your
wife.
wife.
He's like, well, why do you have these? He's like, well, it's part of my fucking business, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Or-
still don't understand why he had to show him the one of his wife. Like, but I mean, it's
just to show like, hey,
emotionally, yeah.
no,
like,
she really is back, and like
this
that's
is like
kinda
you can see that your wife is exactly as the other ones are.
yeah.
Still, it's just sad. Not that I don't see why he had to show him, but like it's just sad. I
Yeah.
don't like that.
So yeah, after that, like that's when Jamie makes his way back to his dad's house
Mhm.
because he got all this fucking
Information
shit
now.
dropped on him,
Mhm.
and he's like, "Yo,
He
I gotta-"
probably didn't know about like the backstory as far as like the Ashen family and their history and
Yeah.
killing Mary Shaw and all this shit. So he's got to talk
Yeah.
to his fucking dad about this shit, right? So
yeah, he comes in on like what fucking family dinner, and she's like,
feeding
feed
them.
him soup. And
Yeah.
I just love the reveal later.
I like the
But wait, we missed the theater.
Well, no, we're gonna get
Yeah,
to the
we'll
theater.
get to the theater.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. You
Because-
were right. You
and I
were
wrote-
right.
I wrote it only because it's another really good transition where it goes to the map and it
Oh,
like,
yes,
it like
yeah.
tightens up on the map
Yep.
and it's his little red car driving on the
Right,
map and then it
yes.
turns into the scene.
So
Thank
then-
you
Him
for
driving.
bringing
Sorry,
this
I don't
up.
mean to.
Yep.
I don't mean to like.
no,
cut
no,
in,
no.
cut in.
Keep us on
all.
And I
track.
was like the theater.
Yes.
So after he has the interaction
Yeah.
with Henry and he finds out all this shit, he decides that he's gonna go to Mary Shaw's old theater, right?
Yes, yeah. Which I don't even remember really what he does there. I know
yeah,
there's a
so
couple little
he makes
scares.
his way.
but-
around.
He makes his way. He discovers the book
Mhm.
about making the perfect doll. He explores the theater and Mary Shaw's apartment because she lived like in the theater, an
Yeah, she lived
attachment
out of it.
out of the theater, and yeah, he discovers the book for the perfect doll, And then
I feel like at the same time we also have Donnie finding
Donnie's
out that
digging
the
the
dolls.
bodies of all the dolls, and they're all empty.
Mhm.
So you're like, okay, we know that like Billy's been popping in and out, but where the fuck are the other 100 fucking dolls? Which is funny because I made a joke because she has 101 dolls,
Mhm.
and I was just like, are there like 101 Dalmatians? I don't know.
Dad joke.
Yeah, dad. There's my dad joke. I don't do them often, so appreciate them when you get them. All right. But yeah, so again, more clues, and we get a good jump scare because he looks into the mirror, and there's like this old. I'm assuming Mary Shaw's ghost,
Yeah.
like appears
I was actually
behind
gonna
him.
ask you, who was that supposed to be?
I think it was Mary Shaw as she got her tongue cut open, like
Okay.
probably her, like that was her spirit haunting, like reenacting the scene of her getting her tongue cut out.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I'll have to watch it back with
Yeah,
that kind
but
of
like
in
there's
my
a
brain.
little jump scare there.
Yeah.
And
he dips.
yeah, he's like, fuck, okay, I'm out. And that's when he makes his way back to the
Yes.
family house
Yes.
to talk to
For
his
dinner.
dad for dinner. Some fucking soup.
The
They're
soup.
under like a fireplace dinner. Like, yeah, they're eating the soup.
Well,
Some split pea soup.
No, it looked like it was probably like clam chowder.
No thanks.
No chowder for you?
I'm not a fucking New England guy. All right.
I love
I
clam
like chicken
chowder,
corn
but-
chowder. Like
Yeah.
homemade chicken corn chowder is good, but like New England clam, no thanks.
That was like a creamy ass, chunky ass soup.
I'm not really a seafood guy.
I'm a big seafood girl, so but I mean, watching anybody, and it's like I knew the twist when I was watching it too, so I'm like,
How do you?
Just knowing that.
I got a question for you. How do you feel about people chugging milk in movies?
Oh my God, Big Milk. Yo, shout outs to Mike from Necroptic Engorgement. He was like, yo, I feel you guys. I can't stand watching
gross,
people
man.
fucking
but no.
chugging milk.
Oh,
I
and
was
did I? And
talking-
did I say that?
No, well, I was saying to you the other day, I was like, it's really funny. I'm listening to the podcast the other day, and like Steven's just like getting totally fucking grossed out by talking about this guy chugging milk, like visibly upset, like, oh, I can't watch someone drink
Yeah.
milk. The fucking movies you watch. And like the fact that it's like, and we were talking about
He's
the
got his
Drake,
limits. Every
the
man's got his
Drake-
limits.
Every man's got his
Drake meme-
limits.
The Drake meme where it's like someone drinking milk, but
Yeah.
it's like someone getting sawed in half. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
I
was
can't.
like
I can't.
the
grosses
the
me out.
duality of it. I'm like,
Mhm.
this man's
Yeah, I'll sit there and watch some like extreme horror and just not even
face
bat an eye.
melting, like,
Just, like
blood.
real nasty shit. And then like I watch someone drink a glass of milk or slurp their
No.
milk from their cereal, and I know it's real milk. And like if it's almond milk or oat milk, I won't. I'll be like, okay,
Yeah.
like I know you're not drinking real milk.
Okay,
but
so
if
it's
I
just the
know if
dairy
you're
aspect
drinking
of
like
it.
real milk and you're just fucking have your milk mustache and you're letting it run down the side of your lips, I'm like, get the fuck away from me
Pain
before
to
I
the
gag,
image.
because I'm gonna throw up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fuck milk. It's gross. Ugh.
I
Yeah,
love
so-
that though.
Fucking dinner.
Yeah, the soup.
Soupy dinner, and Jamie's like pressing his dad about like the family history and like them having ties to Mary Shaw's death, and the dad's like, well, that's why I sent you away. I wanted to protect you.
Yeah, get you away from all
Yeah.
of this.
Because I didn't want you to be a part of it. And he gets a call, but right before he does get a call, we get a knock at the door. It's old Donnie.
Donnie. I love Donnie.
Yeah, he's like, so where are the dolls? He's like, what the fuck? I'm tired of these fucking ghost stories. Like, yeah, I'm ready to book you at this point, or at least bring your ass back to the station so I can, have a better eye on you.
I mean, he kind of tells him like, "Let's go." Like,
yeah,
enough's
enough of this shit.
Yeah.
We're going back. I'm gonna arrest you for now.
He's like, and then he says some shit to it. He's like, come on, man. He's like, do you want me to put the cuffs on you right in front of your mom?
Yeah.
And this is that like pisses Jamie off. And he
Oh,
pushes
yeah.
him out of the way. And like this is like a cool way we're getting into the climax of the flick now, right, Gabby?
Getting into
when
the
you can
third
when you
act.
can kind of feel it,
Yeah.
you know, when things start to intensify.
Yeah.
So-
we go to the final setting, like they're gearing up to go to the final setting.
Yeah.
But the phone
Yeah.
call.
So the phone call. There's a phone call for Jamie, and it's Henry, and he's saying, "I can prove that you didn't kill your wife." meet me at the old theater. and
Right.
I'll show it to
This
you.
was before Donnie shows up, though, right?
No.
This was while Donnie's at the
While
door.
Donnie's
is it?
there, he
Yeah,
interrupts.
he's at
Okay.
the door.
Okay.
I actually just realized something too.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm
Isn't it like,
mistaken.
doesn't he start giving him the address and he's like, no, I know where it is?
Yeah.
Didn't Henry already give him the address earlier? Is that like a slip up?
Yeah.
Because she didn't know that she didn't know he had already gone to the theater.
Probably not.
Because it's supposed to be her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at
it's
Lost.
supposed to be
Come to
her.
the theater at Lost Lake is like what
Yeah.
they say.
Yeah.
Even though like
Which
he was
he
already
was-
there, he
He was
already
already there.
knew.
So I guess
Yeah.
technically,
But
that would be a
Henry,
slip up.
yeah, Henry had already told him where it was,
Yeah.
but he didn't think to be like, you already told me where
Good
it was.
eye to detail on your part for that. But yeah.
I literally just made the connection now
Yeah.
when we were talking about it because I remembered that it's supposed
Yeah.
to be her on the
Yeah.
on the phone throwing her voice.
So yeah, Jamie busts past Donnie Wahlberg, and he makes his way out to Lost Lake Theater. Donnie's like, "Don't make me chase
Huffing
you.
and
I don't even got a
puffing.
full tank of gas." Like he's so fucking over it. He just wants to go back to to the city, and
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
over this shit. He's over chasing ghosts and
The
shit.
thing I was gonna say earlier was, you know, I keep calling him Jason Stackhouse, Jamie. He's so like brokenhearted about like his wife, the pleading that he does before he like makes a break for it.
Yeah, he's like,
When
"Come
he's
on,
like,
this
"This
is
is my wife, like this is my wife," like,
yeah.
and he says it like so sincere, and it's so fucking sad. And then then he just like, okay, fine, boop,
Yeah.
like run.
So yeah, he takes the boat over across the lake to the theater, and then makes his way back in, and that's when Donnie shows up and surprises him. He's like, "Look, Henry's here," and he's like, "No, it's not. There's your boat and there's my boat. There's nowhere.
Only two boats here.
There were the only two boats. I'm over this fucking ghost story. Henry is not here." And then we hear a voice, and it's just like, "I am," and then fucking oh wait, there's this silly scene, and it's in the trailer, where there's like there's the wall that blends in Mary
Yeah.
Shaw's fucking.
I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, it was really cool, but it's so silly because like, they I think they hear Henry's voice,
Yeah.
and they think it's coming from. Well, Jamie knows where it's coming from, and he's Donnie's like, "Where the fuck are you going?" He just kind of disappears into like the wallpaper, but yeah, it's like a hidden passage almost,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
it's like almost like an optical illusion where if your
Yeah.
eyes really didn't like look for it, you wouldn't see it.
I dig it.
But before he
Yeah.
does, he pops back out. He's like, "Oh, whatever you do, don't scream." And like
Yeah.
they use that for the trailer and promotion
Yeah.
and shit. So it's just
I remember that in the I remember
Real campy
tidbits.
moment.
Yeah. Yeah, don't
yeah,
scream.
don't scream. Whatever you do, don't
Don't.
scream.
Don't
Don't.
scream.
Don't go into that house. Don't go
answer
into the
the
basement.
phone.
Don't answer the phone. Edgar Wright, come on, man.
Do it.
Do it, bro. Just make it a short. Come on. Anyway, so they're in the back room, and we hear Henry's voice again, that he's there. And right before that, though, Jamie sees something under a blanket, and he's like, "What's that?" And he pulls the blanket, and there's his long-lost relative, the heckler kid, who is turned into a marionette, and
Mhm.
he's like decomposed and shit. It's fucking great. I love that imagery.
And he pulls the string
Yeah,
and jump
that
scares
scares
Donnie.
fucking Donnie.
He's like, it's just me.
It's
Yeah,
me.
he's like, yeah,
But
I
he
know.
says it after like a really
Already-
long
yeah.
time.
I think
He's
we
like-
just solved a 70-year-old missing person case.
Yeah.
We also we skipped over another thing of Henry kicking the bucket.
You are totally fucking right. All right.
That's a
No, but you
fun-
want to know something?
but-
We kind of talked
Oh,
about
yeah,
it
no, we
early
talked
on.
about-
We did
You're
talk
right.
about it when we were talking about the
Yeah.
extended edition versus
Yeah.
that, but that happens before they go
Yeah.
to the father's house. You
Yeah.
see that.
So Henry went
happen.
like 70 years knowing don't scream, and what does he do?
He fucking screams.
He fucking
Yeah.
screams.
He thinks Marion's down there. It's not Marion. It's Mary
Yeah.
Shaw. She gets him good. He
Yep.
screams. She rips her tongue out.
Feel
Eats
bad
it,
for
and then she's
Marion.
got his voice, and that's when she
That's
makes
why
the
she
phone call.
can. Yeah.
You know what though, dude? I think I
But
think when I had
in-
the DVD, growing up, I
Yeah.
think I always watched the unrated because
So
I
did
never
I.
remember
So did I.
that not being in it.
Yeah.
To be honest,
The tongue thing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it's
tongue
not in
thing.
the it's
Yeah.
not in the regular one.
Yeah.
But
The
the phone,
Yeah, it actually is Ella. What?
but it is Ella because they show it at
Yeah,
the
they
end
show it.
of her on the phone.
But I think she is like, we're jumping ahead here, but
Yeah, we're
we had
jumping all
mentioned
over
it
the place.
that Ella and Mary Shaw are kind of one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So Mary Shaw taking Henry's voice, now Ella can replicate Henry's voice because they're one and the same. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it all
kind of
connected.
ties it.
But
it's
it's
just,
like, it could have
missing
been
that fucking tongue scene that we talked about in the
just
extended.
the tongue.
Yeah. Just right, Charlie, just the tongue. Mary Shaw's tongue game.
He said yeah.
Yeah, he's shy.
That's his mom, bro.
Yeah,
Talking about her tongue
bro.
game.
I don't fucking disrespect
Fucking
your mom
terrible
like that.
motherfucker.
Yo, we were literally on the subject though, like real quick. We were like, yo, Mary Shaw like was probably hot in her prime.
Yeah.
Like she's an attractive old woman.
Let me find. Didn't you meet her?
No, I met
Who did you meet?
what the fuck was her
From
name?
The Conjuring. You met someone from The Conjuring.
Bonnie Aarons.
I met Vera
Yeah.
Farmiga.
Yeah.
We're working at Aroma Time.
Yeah.
And her sister Tessa. They were cool. They were very nice. And she's fucking. I didn't know this, but like, so I technically met the keyboard player of Deadsy because she's married to him, but he just looks so different from like his time in Deadsy. So yeah, that was a thing that happened.
What are you looking her up in her prime?
I'm looking her up. I want to see an old picture.
Yeah.
Guarantee you, she's fucking hot as hell.
What? Oh, she's in something called The Last Thing That Mary Saw, and I saw Mary Shaw. I was like,
yeah.
is there another? No, wait, hold on. Let me just go back to. She is very beautiful, though, like a very beautiful.
Yeah.
They don't have anything of her younger. I don't know if she.
Are you on the IMDb?
I'm on her IMDb. Oh, what's she in? She's in Broadway.
She seems like a theater actor.
Is that her?
If it
Jawline. The jawline seems like her.
If it
that
is,
looks to
we
be
were
her
right.
like 30 or 40. I'm not sure. It's
Let me
on
see.
her
I'm
IMDb.
looks good.
I'm
and
good
it's-
with faces.
That's definitely
I'm good
her.
with faces. Yeah, that's my girl.
Yeah.
Mary Shaw in her prime. She was
Yeah.
she was a very pretty
Very
young
Very
lady.
beautiful woman.
Very beautiful
even-
older woman
Hold
Yeah.
as
on,
well,
what?
though.
Judith Robertson? She was in Eraserhead?
No way.
Yo,
Let me see.
look, the fucking girlfriend that has the kid.
Really? No way. Hold on. You're blowing my mind.
77. Yeah.
She was in Eraserhead?
Yo,
That's what that picture's from.
No.
Holy shit.
Sorry,
It's the baby's
blew it
mom
up.
in Eraserhead.
I blew it all up.
Hold on. I got to look this up. Anyways, let's continue the conversation.
Yeah, we'll look that up after. But
Add that to the ding.
yeah,
Count.
so getting back on track here.
Yeah, where were we? Sorry. I
So
just derailed us
Jamie
like 6
discovers
times.
his long lost relative, gives
Yes.
old Donnie Wahlberg a little bit of a spook because it's the Halloween season. We're all entitled to one good scare.
Mhm.
Wink, wink. And then we're okay. So old Donnie trips over a fucking ventriloquist dummy, right? And he's like, if I see one more of these.
I
And
loved
he
this.
fucking
yeah.
like
Yup.
tosses it, and then it's exposed that all of Mary Shaw's dolls are in these glass cases in their original spot. All 100 of them except for Billy. And that's when we hear the Henry voice again. And these fucking all the dolls, it's so great. They all just their heads start to turn like like just one by
The
one
creaking
by
wood.
one.
The creaking
Yeah.
wood.
Just all like almost like a tick or something.
Yeah.
Like it's so good. And we hear Mary Shaw's voice, but we don't see her. And then we hear like the rocking of this chair, and there's just this clown doll.
Yeah, I like
And
them.
that's your
Yeah.
poltergeist influence right there.
Right.
Yeah.
And we've
The
got this
costume went
clown puppet doll that's just like talking through Mary Shaw's voice. And if you notice on its head, it's got a spiral on it.
It does. I was actually
Well,
going to ask you.
fucking
if you
Saw
noticed that.
universe here. Yeah.
It's all,
Which, it's...
Jigsaw's in there though too.
yeah.
There's a brief... Yeah,
they've,
that's right.
They've like
he's
a
in
little
that.
Billy.
little Easter egg.
His
Yeah.
name's Billy too.
Oh,
Oh,
that puppet
I think that's
doll?
Puppet's
Yeah.
name's Billy.
Yeah.
Yeah, as well.
You see
Yeah.
him in the background at one
Dun, dun,
point.
dun.
Jigsaw's also on the
Dun, dun,
chalkboard of
dun.
Insidious. The face.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that. I love that though. It's
Yeah,
like,
I like
it's
when
kind of
she's-
when
yeah.
they do little Easter eggs,
Yeah.
like nods to their other stuff.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, she so Jamie straight up asks Mary Shaw, since he's got her right there, he's like, why did you kill my wife? And she's like, come closer and I'll tell you. And Donnie's just
Donnie-
like, he's like, Jamie, don't go over there. Don't go
Don't
over
do
there,
it.
dude. Like, don't go over there. He goes over and she's just like, closer and I'll whisper it. And then she
tells him.
She tells him that he was not the last Ashen, and the last Ashen was inside of his wife.
Yep.
Because that's it. She wants to kill the Ashen bloodline. And then she gives his nice ear a little lick. Does
Yeah,
a
it
little
goes through like the tongue
was
goes.
the tongue in?
Nope.
There you
Okay.
go.
Yeah.
Nope. I did not see the little lick.
Yeah, she put her tongue comes out the fucking doll ventriloquist mouth, and she gives Jamie's ear a nice little lick, and he's like, ah, and then it's great because like the fucking doll rises up and she's holding it in front of her face, and then like drops it, and she comes at him, but Donnie fucking pops off the shotgun.
Yeah.
And that's when she starts possessing like all of the other dolls.
And he starts shooting them.
Yeah.
Then it becomes like the end of a video game.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah, like the
yeah.
final boss.
We're in like
kind of.
House of the Dead 4
The
right
shit
now.
is
like-
hitting the fan now, you know?
The House of the Dead.
Everything's coming at you all at once, you
Yep.
know? So it's a bit intense.
So then
so
they're like,
chaotic.
They're like, burn the dolls. So they fucking
Yeah.
light a blaze. And they're trying to escape from the scaffold that they'd scaled across before. And Donnie gets knocked off. And he screams. And in midair, fucking Mary Shaw scoops him up and sucks him through the curtain. And then we see him come back out and his tongue's fucking ripped.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's like
Drops
dropping
him to the
down.
floor.
Drops to the floor, and then his shaver's going off.
shaver.
Yeah, nice little touch, yeah. And, you got Jamie here fucking scaling on for his life on the fucking scaffold, and he pulls himself up, and we get a nice jump scare of Mary Shaw, just like kind of almost like The Ring.
Yeah.
You know when or not The Ring, I'm sorry, Ju-On, when like she peeks her head up in the closet, and there's the ghost right there, yeah. That jump scare is revealed in the trailer, though. I think they should have saved it.
I
'cause that
hate
was
when they
that
do
was
that.
a perfect opportunity for a great jump scare. And Jamie's falling, and this is great because, like you pointed out, like how he's falling, but he catches his mouth, so he doesn't.
That
It's
was
in the
in
Aiden
that
video.
was in the
Yeah,
but that was
yep.
also in the trailer of him falling and
Yeah.
which I was surprised they would put something like that
Yeah,
in the
in the
trailer.
Aiden
But I
video
remember
and the
that
trailer,
being in
yeah.
the
I
trailer.
liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just ends up in under the water of the theater, and how this motherfucker's got time to just sit there and explore. Like, bro, you're underwater without no fucking what is it? Fucking gas mask or whatever, or fucking oxygen tank. There you
Oxygen
go.
tank,
Yeah.
yeah.
And like you're just out here fucking exploring and shit, like you down in the Titanic. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro.
I
Like,
hate
go get some air.
I hate that in movies. That's one of my big things is underwater. I mean, Mike, you'll say this too.
Unrealistic underwater scenes.
Well, no, like things that creep me the fuck out.
Or shit that
Like just
you're-
pools. That new movie is coming out about the pools, but pools, water, like touching things underwater, like
Have you-
costumes or like hair. I'm like,
Have you ever seen
no.
John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little China?
no.
Yeah, there's a
Is
great
there a lot of
underwater.
underwater?
There's a great
I would not do
underwater scene
well.
with corpses. It's great, and a nice little
No.
jump scare too.
I can't
Yeah.
like even just like the thought of like being in a pool and having like fabric touch me. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
don't fucking touch me. Like that's
You ever
one
like
of my
swim
big...
in a lake and like get seaweed on you, or like
Yeah.
or
like,
lily pads and
no.
their slime?
Or if you like swim like too close
I
to
don't
like
go in
a
lakes.
not a barge, but like the what the fuck do you call it?
the buoy.
The dock.
The dock or a buoy or something.
and there's
the
and
algae
it's like
and
it's all the
shit.
algae and it's all
Yeah,
slimy
no,
and shit.
no.
So I don't go
But
in
him-
lakes.
I don't. I
Yeah.
only swim in pools. That's it. for me.
Yeah.
I don't even really like I don't like pools that much either. I go in because of my kids, but I do
Yeah.
not like the pool. I don't like taking like baths. I'm a shower person. Not like literally it's that extensive.
Watch
But
Nightmare on
this-
Elm Street too many times.
this
where you
whole-
get fucking pulled through.
This whole fucking
Yeah.
scene of him swimming through all like the old props and
Mhm.
costumes, and I'm like, there's definitely a wig in there somewhere, and that's just
Yeah,
my
there
worst
was, and there was
nightmare
a
ever.
there was a mannequin down there with a mask on. You get
Yeah.
a little bit of a jump scare under there as well.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice little jump
Which is
scare.
like great that you can see the care that went into him like swimming through the water and everything. But I'm like, no, I'm not watching this.
Mhm.
This is carrying me, like just skeeving me out. I'm like, no. So that is my glass of milk, I guess you would
There you
say.
go.
All right.
That's my
Everyone
glass
has
of
their
milk.
own glass of milk in life.
But yeah, he emerges
your
out
glass
the
of
other.
milk?
Literally glass of milk.
He is the original glass of milk.
Yeah, he is.
But yeah,
I don't
when
like slices. That's like my biggest
slices-
thing.
Oh,
That-
like
it grosses
like,
me out,
Yeah,
especially like a slow
All
slit.
right, for me, nosebleeds make my stomach turn.
Yeah. Yo, do you remember in
I
Green
can't
Room?
watch someone's nose bleed. I'll get sick.
A perfect example of a slit that really fucking makes me sick is remember Green Room
Yep.
when when he takes the razor blade and he slices the guy's stomach
Yep.
open, and it's like you see him make the slit, but it takes like a second for the slit to happen, and it's just like a big
yeah.
Speaking of Green
it
Room,
fucking grosses me out, dude. I hate them. I cringe. I can't deal with them.
this will already drop after it happens, but there is this promotion that is doing like screenings all month long of October, and they're doing a screening in Beacon next Friday for Friday the 13th, of Friday the 13th Part 6. I was going to try to make it out to that, but I hit a deer 2 nights ago, or the deer hit me, actually. And so I don't know if I'll be able to make it to that, but my friends in Low Fiction are playing a set before a screening of The Green Room for the same this same promotion who's doing all these like horror movie screenings in the
Nice.
Hudson Valley. So I'm gonna try my hardest to make it out to that because that sounds sick. The Green Room is not in my October watch list, but
It's a
to
good
watch
one,
the
man.
dudes in Low Fiction play a set and then watch The Green Room with everyone, that's fucking awesome. So I'm happy shit like this is going on. So
Anyways,
that's my little sidebar
little-
on fucking The Green Room.
yeah, and that's my glass of milk or slits and slices and slits and
and
movies and
slices.
shit. Anyways, but where the fuck are we?
he
So,
emerges from the
Jamie,
water, and
yeah.
I'm super happy about it because
Yeah, because now we're out of the water.
Yeah, we're out of the water now.
Yeah. And he makes his way over back to the house and he's like gotta confront his dad. And then he's looking for his dad and it's just fucking quiet. Can't find him. Then he finds his dad in a room sitting in the wheelchair. But he's not moving, he's not reacting, nothing. He goes over and it's revealed.
He
his
turns the
dad-
light on and then
Yeah. His dad's been dead the whole time and turned into a ventriloquist dummy. And also Billy's like in the crib, like all tucked in too.
yes.
So that's
Yeah,
like,
the
nice.
cradle.
Yeah, the cradle or
Nice
whatever.
little touch.
Yeah. And then we get like our Saw moment.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dun, dun, dun,
except
where
for
everything's like
Everything
making
is
sense.
revealed.
Everything is being wrapped up. Everything, is it's
And
a
instead of the Saw theme, it's just like the dead silence fucking theme that we get
Yeah.
in the beginning. And it's revealed that Ella has resurrected, even though we already talked about this, that she's resurrected Mary Shaw. She dug up the dolls. She is a ventriloquist herself. And she's been using the dad as a puppet to fucking, make it like the dad's been alive. And that's when he turns around. Oh, no. And then Mary Shaw shows up.
Yeah, we
And
get
she-
one last little fight.
Yeah. She tries to, get him to scream. He does not. And then we get a last fight, like you said. He throws Billy into the fire. And then you think that's it. All right. Destroyed the last doll. He got Mary Shaw. And then Ella appears behind him. And then it's revealed that Ella and Mary Shaw are one and the same. But if you didn't watch the theatrical, or if you didn't watch the extended cut,
Yeah.
that's where you get the ending of why Ella did what she did. So
Yeah,
Which
it's
I
because
don't
of the
know-
shitty father.
Yeah, I don't know what I prefer. I mean, I guess I did say it was one of the things that bothered me that I didn't know who she was or why she did everything or even if she was possessed by Mary Shaw, why did Mary Shaw possess her or what led up to that?
yeah.
But I do have to say I enjoyed the kind of open-ended nature of the theatrical release. Because then it's just, he screams at the end and it cuts on him screaming. So it's what happens. And then you get the credits running and they're all in their
Family portrait.
the family portraits.
And then this is where we get. Did it do it in yours where it's beware the stair? They go through the rhyme again?
No.
Okay. So in the extended cut, they do the rhyme of beware the stare of Mary Shaw. And it's just showing all of Mary Shaw's victims. So
Yeah.
you got Henry up there, you got Lisa, you got
But they're dolls, right?
Yeah. they're all
No,
the-
wait. I think they did do this. I don't remember them saying
Did
the
rhyme?
rhyme over
Okay,
it,
so
but
maybe they left that-
they might have.
Yeah.
It was the credits, and I had the baby with me.
Yeah.
Again, yes, I forgot to mention I watched this movie with my 8-month-old. So
Yo, you're starting them off right. So props
she
to you.
enjoyed it. She thought it was really funny. So
There you
She
go.
likes the
she
puppets.
had a good time.
Yeah.
Puppets.
She's,
She's
I
a
was
little
just saying if
crazy
she was
girl.
around right now. Let's see. She
Yeah,
reacts to Charlie over here.
yeah. I mean,
But-
she would probably be into it, and Mac would just be like, "No."
Yeah.
I'd be scared of it.
I could see Mac at this age of being like,
No.
Like I
Put
said,
the
my
movie.
nephews hate it. My
Yeah.
grandfather torments them like crazy. I think I might have a video I'll show you later of my grandpa scaring them.
Oh, if you do, I totally want to see that.
Yeah, he scares the shit out of
So
them. with that.
that is the end of Dead Silence,
The different ends.
or the
There's
different
several
end.
Yeah.
several ends.
Yeah, I feel like we were talking about a different movie at times. Kind of were
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah, because I mean, they left out that whole bit in the theatrical
Yeah,
release, so it's like
just-
I had no idea about it, which is why I like watching an extended release of something, because it's like then I have that, okay, like that's canon, I know that, and then for rewatching I can be like have the added knowledge of it, but not be bogged down by all the extra information, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
get
just
that,
the alternate
yeah.
ending,
Yes.
like I said, that just gives the context as far as more of like Ella's character.
Yeah.
I'm a big extended cut guy. I'm a big director's cut guy. Like I always rather watch that cut over a theatrical personally, and
Yeah.
I just feel like why these were removed from the theatrical cut.
Mhm.
Like that's a lot of context right there. You're just taking.
Yeah, yeah. Especially because it
studio
did change
fuck ups,
it.
studio involvement.
Yeah, because like without the context of
It did change.
knowing
It
Ella's
changed.
character,
Yeah, it changed
it
how
just
I saw
kinda-
the end.
right? It just kind of seems more so that like maybe she was never like a real person, that she was just kind of like
Yeah,
like a spirit or an entity. Ella, I'm saying,
yeah,
Yeah.
like some kind of something conjured up by Mary Shaw and from the spirit world, you know,
Yeah.
doing everything that she could do in order to totally destroy the how do you say their last name again?
Ashens.
Ashens. I can't
Ashens.
fucking say it.
I keep saying
Yeah.
Ashman. Like
The
yeah,
to,
Spider-Man.
to totally, you know, kill the Ashen family bloodline, what have you, you know, because of what they did to her. But so
That's it. That's Dead Silence in a nutshell. I know we jumped around a
we
bit,
jumped
but
around.
it's all
Fuck it,
good.
man.
It was a fun
Oops.
conversation.
It was
go
fun.
watch it. It's a really good
Yeah.
movie. It still holds up, even though
It's a
it's
good
like
full time Halloween season watch too, because like
Yeah.
it's a lot of it is like, you know, dark fog. There's tons of leaves blowing around on the ground, you know, and just like
it's got good
rainy,
atmosphere. Yeah, it's a dark
Hammer
flick,
vibe,
man.
like you
yeah, it's a
said.
Hammer vibe. James
Yeah.
Wan says, you know, like he was really going for the Hammer feel with it. So I think he executed it for sure.
Yeah.
And I like Hammer films, so
So
Same.
before we wrap up, we always like to like discuss, you know, what we liked, what we didn't like, just final thoughts and ratings. So Gabby, since you are our guest of honor, sorry Charlie, you've been a little camera shy. Let's get your final thoughts and rating on this.
I definitely enjoyed it for a lot of the stylistic elements, which I feel like you guys can probably attest to that too. Like, I love a good like vaudeville vibe, but also just like having the flashback in there and have it be this kind of murder mystery type, you know, kind of like a backwards murder mystery. Like he's trying to find out how he's involved in everything, and I felt like that was very good. How the entire story was told out. A lot of good dialogue, and you know, you get the breadcrumbs along the way, and then watching it through again, you see like all the little things you missed, and you could tell a lot of care went into it. It wasn't like it has a good rewatchability rate, in my opinion, because there's some beautiful shots, beautiful cinematography, beautiful sets. Costumes were great. I loved like the makeup on Mary Shaw, the props with Billy. So like, you know, I always tend to rate movies based on like how much love I think went into it. You know, if I see something and I'm like, oh, this is like cash grab all over it, I'm gonna rate it something low. And you know, even movies that I didn't particularly like when we went to see The Nun, I was like, it wasn't good, but I had a good time, and you can tell like they had fun making it, so it's like you'll give it like a decent rating. So I feel like with this, what do we do out of 10?
Yeah, out of 10, you could do. I get down to the decimal point, so you could do like
Yeah.
a 4 point yada yada. You know, even if you want to.
All right. Well, I'd say like I rate things higher based on rewatchability in my own scale. So like if I'm willing to rewatch it, it's immediately above a 7. So I feel like maybe 7.5.
Nice.
Okay.
feel like 7.5 is decent. Yeah. Like, it wasn't the greatest movie ever, and I feel like if I went into it completely blind, not knowing the twist, I would have been more, like, raving about it. But because it's kind of an older one, and I remember it as being one of the first horror movies that, like, all my friends were going to see, because I was around 13 at the time when it came out, and I remember seeing the trailers on TV. I remember seeing, all hearing the rhyme and everything, and kind of being like, oh, what's this? And being kind of too scared to do it. And like, so it was that first little, ooh, like dip of the toe into the kind of horror genre. I never really dipped in after that until I watched Seven, but that's a whole other story for another time.
Oh yeah.
So I guess,
Don't get 'em started.
maybe
Get
I'm
me
basing
started.
maybe I'm basing this a little bit around nostalgia, like,
No, that's a
first
good
kind
thing
of
though.
like,
That's like
That's
kinda
okay.
that's like why
early,
it's
like
it's super
there's
nostalgic,
there's
dude.
plot holes. I love camp. I love campy things, so it's like that's never a problem for me. And I'm not into the Saw franchise, but I feel like, it's kind of like getting to have like the magic of the Saw franchise without having to go into, because I'm not a big body horror person. I'm not a big like torture horror person. So it's kind of like getting the magic of Leigh Whannell and blanking on his name, Wan.
James Wan.
James Wan. So having Leigh Whannell and James Wan, like getting to see some of their work and not be like totally grossed out by it. So
Yeah.
those are my final thoughts.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I had a good time. So did Mel.
So 7.5 out of 10.
7.5.
Nice. What about you, Steve?
So yeah, this was a heavy rotation one growing up. I mean, being a big fan of Aiden and seeing that they did the soundtrack, and also being a big fan of ventriloquist dummies, from Night of the Living Dummy, Goosebumps, and shit like that. I immediately drew to this movie. Like, this movie was catered to someone like me, and I would watch the previews for the movie. I remember first seeing it in between. I was watching Scarred, MTV Scarred. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So like that was when I first saw the trailer, and I was like trying to convince my mom to take me, and she couldn't take me. So the minute it was available to rent at Blockbuster, I remember staying at my cousin Alicia's house, and she lived like within walking distance of one on Dulcin Avenue. So we scooped it up and watched it that night. And like the jump scares got me at the time, and we really fucking enjoyed it. And it was just one that like I'd picked up the extended director's cut at FYE, and I would just watch it like at least once a year. So I mean, I have like a lot of nostalgic love for this movie. I think my overall rating is gonna be a 7. It's just solid 7 out of 10. Yeah, it's got its flaws, in which now seeing or knowing that the studio had a lot of well, not interaction,
Control.
a lot of
Fucking hands in it.
interference
Interference,
with it, and it being a rushed film. I can see why, like, there are like the flaws that are there now, why they chose to cut out Ella's whole like little like reveal of like why she resurrected Mary Shaw and this and that. Like, those were some bad choices, but I'm gonna chalk that up to the studio and not the writer and director. Like, I know for a fact James Wan wouldn't be down with that, leaving that shit out. So
No, so you think it would have been better with having Ella's explanation? Is
yeah,
what you're saying?
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree.
I do. I know it sounds like I didn't agree with that, but I do agree with that. I feel like having it in, because of what I said about extended cuts, but I feel like it does add to the end, because it felt like something was missing.
Yep.
It really did. It felt like
Yeah,
something was missing.
I don't know. Again, the studio involvement just fucked it up, just like they did with Halloween 6. So
Ooh, maybe they wanted to make it into a sequel.
I
maybe
feel like
that's
they
why.
definitely wanted to,
I'm sure
but
it
then
definitely
because
had
it
that kind of
financially
intention.
flopped,
Yeah,
they were like, okay, no,
so then they just added into the extended cut.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
maybe they were planning to do something more with Ella in a sequel, so that's why they cut it from the theatrical. I don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely a
Gotta look it up.
possibility. But, unfortunately, like, we'd mentioned it's a financial flop. However, there is a new scan that is out by Shout Factory. Both Nick and I, even though we forgot to bring it for this episode, there is a new 4K UHD scan from Shout Factory, like I'd mentioned, and it looks great.
Yeah.
I think now with that scan being out, this movie will finally find its audience and go on to become a cult classic
Yeah.
years from now.
And the thing with Shout Factory too is you find more Shout Factory movies in like a Walmart or in Best Buy and Target and places like that. So for people to discover it, would definitely be more attainable, I'd say, in a sense, because like unfortunately we don't have places like FYE and shit anymore.
Yeah.
Where you discovered a lot of shit there.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of which was Satan's Little Helper.
Yeah. So many between FYE, Media Play, Circuit City, and Best Buy. Those were like my stomping grounds at all the Middletown locations with my grandfather.
Yeah.
We would just fucking raid the horror section in like every store.
And then like even though this movie was a flop, I'll go into like what I want to say about it. Even though it was a flop, I mean, I don't even necessarily like look at that, and I don't even necessarily care about that. The rewatchability 100% is there. I think after all these years, it came out in 2007, like it still holds up. And I think I even mentioned like to some degree it was pretty VFX heavy, but it blends in nice.
Yeah.
And I feel like even for the time, like they did a good job with it. Even though like I mean I'm not the biggest on visual effects, but I feel like the way that they used it in this movie, instead of going super heavy with it, they used it to enhance certain things. Like they only built like maybe 20% of the theater exterior and the rest was VFX. And I mean, you could tell, but I'm like, you did it to enhance and it looks like pretty good. So, I don't even know where I was going with that, but I don't think the visual effects were done tasteless. I think they did it very tastefully.
Just a little dated in that new scan.
Yeah, of course. And I mean,
anything that's gonna show up.
That was so
course.
early on,
Yeah.
In the visual effects world. I feel, but they didn't go too crazy with it. And
No, because there was definitely some practical effects. They didn't fully rely on the CGI.
Like the dummy.
Yeah.
The dummy and
Even some of the bodies,
the
like,
face, their faces and stuff.
Yeah.
You could tell was done with makeup, and maybe it was like
and then just touched up with
enhanced a little bit, like you were saying.
with visual effects.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, I love Leigh Whannell. I think Leigh Whannell is probably one of the best horror writers. He's proved himself time and time again with all the movies, and I love him and James Wan's combo. It's got super nostalgic feeling, like vibes for me, most of all because of like the time I was very young when this movie had come out.
Yeah,
and then
I was in 8th grade, and I think we were all like
we
in
were
8th
all
grade,
around the same time.
So and I say it all the time, like I said it to you, I'm like anytime like I watch that Aiden music video, it like I get a jolt of like nostalgia
Yeah.
and I just feel so good. And then I think about like where I was in my life at that time, just being like a young kid discovering horror movies too.
Yeah.
And then it's just like them two Saw I think I even fucking said it to you. It didn't make the last episode when I was recording it because we were like riffing early on, but I said Saw was probably one of the earliest movies that I was conscious of like what a fucking twist in a movie was.
Yeah.
Kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because dude,
Yeah.
like
I
you were
agree.
not, because you weren't expecting that at
No.
all in it, and then when Jigsaw comes up at the end,
Yeah.
and he's like game over, I think that's what he says. But
Yeah.
you're like, I was like, holy shit, dude, and I mean, that was a big deal for me. And then I heard about like what the Splat Pack was, and I was like, "Fuck, man!" I wish I was part of the Splat Pack. Eli Roth, Leigh Whannell, James Wan.
I have the list. Rob Zombie.
Yeah, Rob Zombie.
You can
Darren
take
Lynn
him out.
Bassman, Neil Marshall, Greg McLean. I wrote them down because I was like, I need to have these names because I'm horrible with fucking names.
Those were just all the biggest dudes who were doing all the horror movies
Those
at that
that
point.
era.
The early to mid 2000s.
Again, this was
horror.
also like the era of like the torture porn horror because like Saw was taken off, then we'd get Hostel, and then like more of that kind of shit to follow, and then there was like also over in France was like the French New Wave was hitting.
French Extreme,
The
like
French
with High
Extreme,
Tension,
yeah.
Frontiers
Yep.
Inside, and Martyrs and shit. That stuff, yeah. They were
They
really
saw
fucking
what we were doing with
it out
Saw, and
there.
we're like, we're gonna one up you.
I think they might have.
Hold my beer.
I mean, look,
I
man,
think so.
I don't like Inside. We'll get to that in a second. But anyways, like I love the atmosphere. I love the cinematography. I love the way that James Wan had shot this movie. I'm a big Hammer film guy, so it's just, this movie is like everything that I really do like in movies. It's a good ghost story. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gushing over James Wan and Leigh Whannell. Anyways, I give this a 7.5 out of 10. I love Dead Silence. I was very excited that we were able to sit down and talk about this. I was very excited.
Well,
Yeah,
know,
it's a
like
good one.
that fucking new Shout Factory release came out. We both picked it up and we're like, let's talk about this. Let's put it on our Halloween season watch list. And I think it is a great movie to watch during October because it's a ghost story. It brings the Hammer atmosphere.
Yeah.
Lots of dead leaves. Lots of good,
Dark, gloomy, dead
yeah.
leaves,
cemetery.
atmosphere.
Exactly, the cemetery.
mansion,
Yeah, the
And you get a
mansion.
fucking horror punk post-hardcore band to do a music video for. This shit is 100% made for an October watch.
Yeah. It's a good one. And I mean, I watched it 2 days in a row, and I'd probably still go home and I'd watch it again. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of want to watch it again.
Unfortunately, I have
You
like
should.
31 movies to make, so I gotta keep
Yeah.
my watch list pushing. But if I had the time, yeah, I'd throw it on again.
Background, like getting
It's
ready.
it's
you're
definitely
right.
it's
That's
definitely a good
Definitely getting
background.
ready.
Yeah, but then I get dialed in. Sometimes I
Yeah.
can't have a
And
movie
then you're
on the
like-
background. It's one thing to have like a podcast or like some other shit, but like when a movie's dialed in,
Yeah.
like, or when a movie's in, I will like get sucked in. Like that happened to me so many times, like during like AMC Fear Fest, like where I'd have to get ready for work and I don't
Oh,
want to
man.
leave because
I
like
got a very vivid memory of one time when
me
that
with
had
Pet
happened.
Cemetery too. I didn't want to. I was late for work that day at ShopRite because I was so invested in Pet Cemetery too.
I have 2 times when that actually happened to me, and it was both AMC Fear Fest. So I remember one time was when I was in like 8th grade. I think it was like a Saturday, and I had a football game, and I was watching Hellraiser, or Hellraiser had just come on, and I started watching it, and then my mom was like, "Yo, it's time to go," and I'm like, I just really wish that I could fucking stay home and watch this shit right now. Then another time was when I was doing like the wedding photography. We went up to like Vermont, and then I drove like 6 hours all through the night, and then I woke up and we had to get going, but they were playing like Resident Evil on Fear Fest, and I was like, I'd rather just like stay in the hotel and
Yeah.
watch this today.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So this is definitely like one of those movies for me as well, man. If it comes on, I will definitely
Yeah,
watch
you'll
it.
stop what you're doing.
I'll
and
stop what
watch,
I'm
yeah.
doing
Nice
and
little
watch it, yeah.
comfort. Nice little
Yeah.
comfort.
I don't feel like
flick.
it ever really gets boring
No.
throughout as well. And
No.
like you
Pacing.
say, like you
The pace,
yeah, the
man.
pacing's good. Like
and
you-
that's why it's so confusing to me, the things that they cut out. I'm like, that really doesn't have anything to do with pacing.
Yeah,
Like,
you'll rate movies based on like rewatchability, and I think that that's really good too. But then I can also rewatch, or I'll rate a movie based off of like, do I feel like the pacing? Like pacing's
Yeah.
big for me.
how often did you swipe the mouse? Because I watch everything on my computer. I'm like,
to see like how
much
long.
longer I have.
Yeah, you don't do it with this.
Yeah, no, and again, that's like what I was saying, like point to point, the breadcrumbs lead you through the story in such like an organic
Yeah.
way.
He's a good writer.
And, like, again, the dialogue, I'll go down the rabbit hole.
And
again.
it's just
But
it's
yeah,
also
like, it's just
really
very
cool too, just to
masterfully
see like
written.
the early stages of 2 solid writer, director, filmmakers'
Yeah.
careers, and like to see like where they came and like where they are now. Because I think this was the second movie that they did, and I think I mentioned earlier on, I can't remember, but it was a rushed film.
Yep.
Saw was incredibly successful. They really did the thing with Saw, and they were directed by their management. Fucking
Yep.
get a movie going now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, even
And
though
I'm
it was a
guessing
rushed movie,
that's why they paid them to write the script,
Right.
probably.
and even though it was like a rushed movie, I still think that it was really good.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm still very interested to hear more about other iterations. But
Yeah, I'd love to read that original script
The,
of like the time period piece.
yeah,
Yeah,
but like
I
the
was-
whole twist and everything for that, as
Yeah.
far as I know, like before we wrap up,
Mhm.
like Leigh Whannell, when he talks about it, he says that so it took place entirely in the vaudeville era, like the flashback scenes, and then ultimately what ended up happening was the master ventriloquist ends up having a stroke, and then he has a female assistant who calls upon a bunch of priests to come to the theater because she says that it is haunted. And then furthermore, you like find out the big twist is similar to the big twist in this, is that
Where he's
the his wife is actually the spirit or
ooh,
whatever.
okay.
Interesting.
And she's the
That's
one that's
interesting.
like controlling him or whatever. So like
Does,
they plucked out some things.
Does the shout? You guys, you said you have the Shout Factory.
Yeah.
Is there like? Because one thing I do love watching is commentary.
Yeah, there's commentary.
There's commentary ones.
Yeah.
I might have to borrow that.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah, you can borrow it.
watching. I love watching and listening to like either actors or directors like talk about, they tell stories about like what happened on set or like how things
They have
were
a
done.
making of on it, which is like a pretty
yeah.
good making of. You
I
know, they
love the
talk
behind the
about like what they
scenes.
did with all the dummies and all the dolls and shit. So like the Billy doll, he was like specifically made because he's like a hero prop,
Yeah.
But then all the other ones, like all the 100 of them, they were like, what are we gonna do with all of these? So they bought people's collections and shit out, and then they just put prosthetics on these dolls to make them look
Yeah.
different. So like you'll notice that there's probably like 25 Charlie McCarthy's in there, but it's like they would put prosthetics on them to make them look like different and
Mhm.
put different hair and stuff on them just to doll them up, jazz
Yeah.
them up a bit. But that's like that's like the fun stuff that you find out.
Yeah.
Charlie, how do you
Yeah.
feel having so many fucking stunt doubles?
None of the dolls exists as far as I know. They burned,
Except for the piggy one.
yeah,
right?
there's like one little piggy one that James Wan has, but they burned all 100 of them as far as I'm
Like
as far
for
as I
real,
know.
for real?
For real, yeah. It's only one that exists, I believe. Maybe there's a Billy one. Maybe there's like the hero Billy. No, but they burned him too.
But I
They
would
burn him
think
at
that
the
they
end.
would take like
They don't care.
it's so beautifully made.
Yeah,
though.
they don't
like,
care.
shit.
They make it for the movie, and then it's like that is what
What's
it
that?
is,
All
But
right. You really
anyways, that's
Mikey's nodding over here.
yeah. Anyways, so that's Dead Silence. Thank you so much for fucking coming on,
Guys, thank you for
Yeah,
having
it's
me.
been
This
an
was
absolute
so
pleasure,
much fun.
Gabby.
and thank you,
so
Mikey,
happy
for
you were
having
able to
us.
talk. Yo, Mikey, like not on camera, but he's working the magic behind the camera, checking the audio
Well, BT,
levels,
yeah, behind the
checking our
scenes.
fucking, making sure our cameras are good. Thank you for letting us use the studio, Mikey. Appreciate it. We will have you on for an episode of your own because I want to hear some road stories.
Mikey
And
doesn't
I-
like scary movies though.
That's okay. I want to know the ones that you do like when we do have you on. You know what I mean? But yeah,
I don't even know what the fuck he likes.
with that being
I
said,
stopped going to movies with him. I stopped going to
Okay.
scary movies with him because he gets scared and he'll commentate.
Oh, okay. It's kind of
He's a
relieved the
little
tension.
bit.
But didn't you
he's
say
a
he
little
got-
bit of a talker?
But didn't you say he got better with it?
He's gotten a lot better with it.
All right, maybe
He's
we'll
gotten
go
a lot
then.
better with it.
We'll take him to go see The Exorcist because
Yeah.
Steven won't see it,
No,
and
I hear it's a flop, but I'm still gonna go.
Alright.
we'll go see it.
not shocked.
I think we're gonna go
Honestly.
during the week.
Yeah.
So,
But I
Well,
did
we wanna
see
try and go.
the 50th anniversary director's cut of the original Exorcist this past Wednesday, and that was an absolute fucking treat. I took a friend who had never seen The Exorcist before,
Oh, shit.
and it was fucking great watching their reaction.
was it a hit?
Oh yeah, it was a hit. It was a hit.
My mom watches The Exorcist every other day in October.
It's great. It's a
You
good
know my
October
mom
movie.
loves-
great. My
It's a
mom
good
loves it,
October
yeah.
movie
I
because
came over your guys' house for I forgot. I think it was
Oktoberfest.
no, yeah, it was Oktoberfest.
Oktoberfest.
And I fucking went inside, and her mom's just chilling inside watching The Exorcist. And
Yeah.
guess what I did?
Every day.
watch that
I
right down.
just sat down,
there's
I watched
great
The Exorcist
exterior
with her.
shots of like the leaves rustling and like you see kids trick or treating in one scene, and then the one main priest, he's up in Woodstock, and you can tell like they shot that scene in the woods of like probably Woodstock or something.
Did you know that there's a Broadway play of The Exorcist in development right now?
Really?
No, that's
And
interesting.
Adrian Brody.
Yeah?
Brody.
Yeah?
He's supposed to be.
That's my boy.
I don't remember the guy's last name. Damien, the priest.
Yeah.
The priest. He's supposed to be the
Damien
priest.
Cross. Or
Yeah,
It-
one
it
of-
is- yeah,
something,
it is with the-
something
it is with the K.
churchy.
Why you do this to me? I've been doing that all week,
Yeah.
like fucking with my mom, like because she's terrified. of
I
that
could
movie.
definitely see Adrian
But
Brody in that
but
role.
it's
be
in
cool.
development right now.
Damien.
It's not now,
Oh,
mind you.
Damien.
Broadway doesn't necessarily mean musical. It's a play. It was a made for stage adaptation.
Good. I
Um,
can't because you'd ruin it if you did it in a musical.
I mean, I feel like you can make a really fun campy musical, but like musical spoofs are on that. Yeah, I'm not even gonna get into it. I'm not gonna get into it. But that is on the radar
Okay.
coming to Broadway, which they've been bringing more horror stuff.
I'd go see it.
They've been
Yeah,
bringing
I'd
more
go see
horror
it.
stuff to Broadway, like more horror plays.
I saw Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde on Broadway in 2013, and that
Mhm.
was awesome.
Was that the musical version or the play?
I
There's
think it
two
was the
different
musical
The
version.
musical holds
Yeah.
up. The
Yeah,
musical's
it
got some good
It was a
music
good
in it.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they've been bringing more horror to Broadway. I feel like live shows, I love that. I love
Yeah.
that vibe.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyways, all right.
little tangent
Let
on The
me,
Exorcist
Yeah,
there.
and Judith
take us out.
Roberts, she was in Eraserhead. So
Okay, it is confirmed.
That's pretty
the
fucking
actress
cool.
of
Though.
Mary
Did not
Shaw
know.
played the girlfriend who had the baby in Eraserhead. So that's really cool. We just discovered that today. And
And just to confirm, she did look good.
she looked great.
She looked good back in the day, and
Yeah.
she
She looks
does
good
look good
today.
now. So
Yeah.
She looked good in that in Dead Silence. I don't know about today. Like we're adding 16 years on top of that.
she's probably pretty old now.
Yeah.
A lot older than she was.
Yeah.
But
All right.
anyways, we digress. But so Steven, that's Gabby. This has been great. Steven, this has been
Yes.
great. Mikey, thank you. Charlie, you've been very quiet, but you're gonna probably be talking our fucking ear off in the car, guaranteed.
He's
But
gonna
Steven,
ride with us to Chipotle and just
yeah.
get it all out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
the little
all right.
wave. There you go.
Steven, take us out, brother.
All right, with that being said, that concludes our episode on Dead Silence. We hope you enjoy. The best way you could support the show is following us on Instagram at Dead With My Friends Podcast. We're also on YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe to us on there. And we're available on all your podcast streaming platforms. Leave us a 5-star rating and review. Really helps the show grow. And yeah, Gabby, thank you so much for being on. It's been an absolute pleasure. Mikey, thanks for letting us use the studio. And we hope that all that are listening or watching, you're getting heavy into your Halloween season watch list. You're really embracing the month because, you know, those that are listening, clearly you're horror fans. And this is our time of year to embrace. So until next time, I'm Steve.
I'm Nick.
That's a wrap.
Peace.